Heyo, welcome to Jammin on Comics with Krisis and Freddie. How's it going, everybody? We have Is Freddie Real? Let's discuss. Freddie, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Jess?
I'm okay.
Okay,
And then
good
we
days?
have what? Huh?
Having good days?
Uh, yeah, reasonably decent. Yeah,
Okay.
I can't complain. Yeah, I'm okay. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. And Crisis, how are you doing,
Hello.
my friend?
I'm
Who
well.
are
It's a beautiful autumnal day in New Zealand. I woke up at 5:30 and took a meeting from the pool parking lot so I could get into the pool first. Swimming doesn't count unless I'm the first one in. So that's what I did today.
Okay, and your hair is wet from swimming.
Yeah, this is,
Wild, man, wild.
Yeah.
Nice.
living life.
So I'm really bummed because if we're going to talk about the topic, I can't find my Shop Assistants album, and I was like, "That's the main album that's obscure that I want to talk about." And you
Well,
put
it's not
it
obscure
in
anymore because you
thumbnail.
already told me about it. So now I know about it. I just
And
put
it's in
that
the
on there
thumbnail.
because
Okay.
people know that you know, that I know, that they know that you like that record.
I followed all that. Okay, so I don't have to find it. Everybody
No.
knows about Shop Assistants. Everybody, you need to love the not the Shop Assistants. They're a great.
No
group.
definite article. They're just shop assistants everywhere.
Well, let's check the thumbnail here. I still have on my desktop. Shop Assistants, yeah. And so let's see. There was already discussion with Crisis in the chat. Chris, how are you doing? He's kind of raising an eyebrow here about T-Dragon Society being obscure. And I think here's where we might have gotten our... Well, I don't think enough... First of all, I don't think enough people know about T-Dragon Society still. And Peter, I believe you found out about it in that chaotic Discord chat that has like 180 unread messages for me.
Oh no, we have all the T-Dragon societies for Kid Crisis. But I was just asking the chat, I'm like, what are some of Jet's when I think of your faves, I think of like Harley Quinn, I think of 70s Superman, I think of Neil Adams Batman with the original colors. I was looking for something that's a little, but obscure, is in the eye of the beholder. Some of the things that are obscure to me to bring to you two, all of my circle of friends, music-wise, would already know it. So that's why I thought it'd be fun to talk about. But that, we're in the third minute. We don't talk about the thumbnail in the third minute. What are you doing here?
No, I was ready to introduce the topic.
Well, I'm just going over the comment, and then because Elon actually made a joke that you didn't know about in the chat, which shows me now how long Elon has been watching the show, because he said that I introduced Kristen to T-Dragon Society, and that's the joke, because Kristen very much so introduced me to it. I did a whole video about the T-Dragon Society, and she was in the comments, and she said, "So who told you about this comic?" And I'm like, "I didn't mention you this whole time." That was like 3, 4, 5 years ago, whatever it was. I'm like, ugh. So I'm very sensitive now to make sure I tell people who recommended it to me. I almost had a very fine condition recommendation here. I can still go get it. So let's see. Munin, I guess, will not be here. Okay, thank you. And for showing up anyway. It's a test how many things in this image. Oh, he knew 3 of the 4 comics and 1 music artist. That's interesting.
That's pretty good.
Other Omnipubs. Steve Patterson. Hi, everyone. Oh, all these people won't be able to watch, but they dropped in to say hi. D.H. McAdams is building an even bigger area for his dogs in his backyard, which is amazing. Yeah. James is worried that we were going to be late, and we were. Captain Underpants, that's the clock is ticking symbol, I guess. Doc Elevator is trolling here, obviously.
I
Hey,
made that
Sazmerv.
I made that joke in our email chat.
About Spawn?
Well, not Spawn specifically, but saying, my favorite obscure things are from Image, Like this one person you've probably never heard of, Hickman. You know
Oh,
Hickman?
yeah.
You don't know Hickman. A Criminal and Saga. Oh, just obscure. Underground,
yeah.
man.
I did almost grab a couple of Image books, but I don't think I did. Joey from Down Under, peace and love. Good to see you. Oh, fellow Kiwi here. Batmantha saying hello. How are you doing, Batmantha? We're in the... Oh, and here's another Kiwi. Whoa, all the Kiwis. Right on, man.
Morena to my Kiwis. It's a beautiful one in Wellington today. Hopefully it is for the two of you up further north.
Fifth of Jack saying most importantly, Krisis. Oh, and howdy, chat. Yeah, okay. Cassidy Finch finally got my copy of Team Up's Finest from in stock. Looks like Krisis is gonna pull it. Nice. Good pull.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love it because it has both lines of Team Up in it. It has hold on, let me orient my eyes here. It has DC Comics Presents 1 through 14, I think is the 1974 series, which is Superman's Team Ups. But then it also has the Brave and the Bold 141 through 155, which is generally Batman's Team Up. So I like the idea that if they extend this line in either direction, it will continue to have both the team ups of Superman and Batman, which I think is the way to do it, because at a point they pretty much exclusively team up with each other, and it would be weird to have like a Batman team ups book and a Superman team ups book, because they would have to reproduce all of those team ups. So yeah, some people were a little annoyed. I'm like, no, that is exactly what I wanted. I'm into it.
Nice. Phenomenal AC, and let's see, and also Sazmerf. I think both won items in my birthday giveaway, and those are in the mail finally. So there you go. Thank you for being here. Oh, Matthew Mangy, I can't even pronounce anything. Who did Mike Allred did this. He did my favorite Harley Quinn one. Light and Darkness War, and Farford and the Gray Mouse are my two favorite obscure.
Wow. Leave that up on the screen for a second so I can search for those.
Oh yeah, I remember reading Farford and Gray Mouse, or I feel like back
is that spelled correctly? That's it? Fafford?
I think it is. Farford, yeah. It's like a
I see.
sorcery thing, I think.
I see it from Dark Horse Comics. Okay, we've already got some early entrants in the obscure war.
Yeah.
Remy, welcome. Oh, beautiful people. Thank you. Beautiful people. Two beautifuls. Right on, Remy.
No. I really embraced that my brain is just a jukebox on my screen, and so on my stream, so whenever anybody says anything that's a quote from a song, I just start singing the song enough that it won't be a copyright strike. And so I'm just embracing that that's how my brain works, and trying to enjoy it.
I'm into it. I'm totally into it. Just finished Crushing Comics episode 27. Loving this journey. I need after this. I don't think I have a Bitly link for your YouTube show that's on Sundays now at 4:00 Eastern Standard Time. Is that right?
It is at 4. See, you know everything that you need to know. No, but I think Reaper is going back and watching my original series, the one that you interviewed me at the beginning of, back in the end of 2018.
Oh, this is my channel.
No, it's my channel, but the old one. I've got all the books, all the books, the bales of books behind me, and they're all wrapped up, and I take them all apart. I think that's what Reaper's watching.
Okay, so it's your old stuff.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. Brian 12ish, welcome. At work at 6, it's past 6. Why are you still working? What's going on here? I know that actually I've got people that check in and out at work, and they work all kinds of different days and hours and everything. So I apologize for pigeonholing you into that 9 to 5 thing. Sorry. Good evening from Canada. Oh, the Great White North. Welcome. Who's talking? Who's chirping at me on Discord?
We've all learned that Omnidog never turns off his Discord notifications.
No.
So we were actively trolling him last week during a stream that I was on, but I was also in Discord actively trolling, so that we're trying to make a constant stream of the Discord noise happen during the solicit stream on very fine condition.
And
Hilarious.
There's this chat that was originally me, Alon, and Cliff. Wait, I forget the origin of it already. It was just supposed to be a way for me to get Cliff into the Discord, or whatever. It blossomed into James and Beyond Comics are in there, and Elon, and there's like 8 people in there, and I have, let me count, or there's going to be a little thing up there, 141 unread messages from these maniacs.
Wow.
The Omnidog takeover chat. Yeah. It's the most active thing on my Discord by far. Easily.
Well, that's because you got the 8 prime maniacs from your channel. All
I'm including myself in there. I'm one of the 8. So yeah, we are all maniacs.
You know, I'm like new to group chats. I always tell people like I am your great grandma when it comes to using like a phone or anything like that. And so even I had like a few chats in Messenger. Now I'm locked out of Facebook, so I can't even use Messenger. I'm an old person. As soon as I leave the laptop, I don't understand how any technology works. Bluetooth, phones, people have lights in their house that they can talk to. I'm so analog. All I know how to do is what's on the laptop screen. And so it's funny because I've never really been in group chat. Like any kind of like jokes about like, oh, that's like when somebody starts the group chat and they put a meme in and then they leave. I don't get any of those jokes because I've never been in group chats. So this is like my first, it's like baby's first experience, great grandma's first experience.
Are you still in the chat or have you left again?
I have not left it again yet. I was jamming on so many deadlines last weekend. I pulled 2 like overnighters. I missed D&D. So I had to like turn off all everything. And then ironically, I got locked out of Facebook Messenger after that was over. So.
Yeah, what, something technology wise happened, or what? I mean,
so fun fact, when you don't live in America, but you used to live in America, you often have your old American phone number on, I should say the United States. There's other saner parts of America. You have your old phone number often on VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol, like Google Voice or something like that. So I can continue to use that phone number. But so a lot of my accounts that were born in America, like don't like dox me or steal my stuff, anybody, but like they're still operating on American information, or else I would have to give them up. Like, you know, some social networks, some credit cards, some whatever, like only work if you have American contact information. But they think that sending those 2-factor things to VoIP things now is a security risk. They're like, well, anybody could have a VoIP thing, like somebody living in New Zealand, for example. So all of a sudden, I think a lot of them transitioned to not sending 2-factor to VoIP, and all of a sudden all my stuff shut off over the past couple of weeks. So like I had a credit card that stopped working, and of course credit card companies want your money so you can call them and like talk them through it. But like when, you know, something like Facebook or StreamYard or something turns off, you're just SOL at that point. So I have plans. I think I figured out how I'm gonna do it, but you know, I'm just enjoying the silence for a little while and just doing more work, swimming, running, all my things that I do. So that's the story. So if any of you ever are looking me on Facebook, I'm not going to see it for another 2 or 3 months.
Well, hopefully sooner, but yeah.
Um,
I was going to say on the topic of group chats, you're so lucky, Peter. Do you know how many group chats I'm invited to every single production? It doesn't matter if it's a commercial that I'm only supposed to be there for 2 hours. They will include me before, and it will be active for so long. There will be people that don't realize, like, you know, the time of courtesy on this is over. Like, stop. We worked on this 5 months ago. Don't write "Have a Merry Christmas" here. No, this is done. We're over. We've moved on. We were together for less than 12 hours. Let's go. No. Oh, and
that's like so temporary. What, like,
yeah,
I don't know. To me, text is like my most permanent medium. So I don't want to be in a group chat and text with like a bunch of people I'm never going to see again after 2 hours. No.
And then I'm in a few of them for sound people that they keep doing drama. I don't understand it, but there's a conspiracy theorist in our group amidst us, and he keeps sharing links that no one will ever click on. But it just keeps going and going and going.
But just leave. I mean, are people not as rude as me? I know I'm pretty rude, but like, what can't you just be like, okay, it's been real, goodbye?
Well, here's the thing. Sometimes important things go on in that particular group chat.
No, I can't do that. I don't have the right brain wiring to be nice to
Exactly.
people long enough for that to work.
I muted it once. And then I missed out working on Blue Beetle because of it.
So, you missed getting to work on Blue Beetle?
Because they were looking for someone last minute, and they were writing
muted
the group chat
one
and
time.
I had muted it exactly.
Oh wow! I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
Huh?
I missed out on a couple of things. I missed out working on a what is it called, Falcon and Winter Soldier, because they were gonna come here for when we were having some earthquakes in the south. They were not gonna film in the south, but they just panicked and ran off.
Huh?
Yeah.
I'm in like on Facebook Messenger. Speaking of, I'm in like, and I'm not kidding, 7 different chats with very fine condition.
I believe it.
There are so many different chats that I'm in with him, and then we also text each other. So there's that chat. This is a serious question, and I will say that I believe my favorite is Haas. And I love that you're into Bonanza right now. That's what I grew up with. I haven't thought of Bonanza in years. I loved Haas. Adam, he left early, so which I think was a career mistake. But and Little Joe, I was always jealous of his hair, especially when he went on to do that Heaven Can Wait show or whatever it was. Not a Little House on the... Wait, was he in Little House on the Prairie? Was he the main guy? Or was it... Yeah. And then he became like an angel guy. I'm not remembering correctly. You've watched the overview about 4 or 5 times on the G.I. Joe book. Yeah. Okay. Well, then, I warned you about the gilded part of the pages. They need to be separated like page by page.
You know what's my favorite part about that?
Good.
Overview?
Keep talking trash on it to continue to lessen my intense FOMO for not paying for it, because
on G.I. Joe,
it was going to cost me like a week of rent to get that set to New Zealand, and I just could not justify it.
Just the compendium. It was just the compendium, not the other stuff from the Kickstarter.
Oh, but the regular standard compendium doesn't have the gilded pages. Only the Kickstarter version, I thought.
No, the Cobra edition has red.
Well, that's from Kickstarter.
I think they sold it.
They sold it
Yeah.
because it was sent to me from Organic Price Books. Don't forget to use code Omnidog for $2 off, and big savings with 5% off if you're shipping 4 more books together with Omnidog with code Omnidog. Set. Ooh, good segue. Thank you.
But I think our friends at Organic Price Books, who are fans, in addition to being, you could put the banner back up, who are fans, in addition to selling us comics, I think they backed the Kickstarter at the retail tier to get copies to sell to you.
That is possible, because if you go to organicpricebooks.com right now, you will find the Cobra edition on sale for $75. So no real discount on it, but pretty good if you're interested in it.
What about the...
I just looked and it was sold out when I looked. Maybe they were discriminating against Kiwis.
Look again, because it was there were copies as of yesterday when I put the video up.
It says exclusive hardcover edition with the Duke fold-out poster and 1 unsigned bookplate.
Right.
Does not come with stretch goals. So yeah, it's from the Kickstarter.
It is. Okay.
But my favorite part of your overview was how sometimes you flip through a page and you'd stop and it's totally obvious that you're reading it. You're just caught up reading the page. It's so funny. I love it.
Usually I say, "Oh, wait a sec," and then
Yeah.
because there will be something happening. I'm like, oh, this actually looks interesting because I know nothing about GI Joe, and I said as much in the video. But yeah, I did that with Tinian's Batman. I'm putting an overview of it up tomorrow, and I hadn't read any of it, and there was I know a lot of people say it's mid or meh, but I saw a lot of interesting stuff that made me actually want to read that Omni right away. And I did see a bunch of stuff in GI Joe. Oh yeah, the the gorilla, not the gorilla, the bear.
The bear
Steal
suit,
the pan from. They don't steal it. He loans it to him because they're chasing the bad guys. Yeah, that's what I stopped and read. I'm like, what's going on with this bear driving this van?
Yeah, but if to talk about something that Reaper wrote, like on X-Men Gold, which is an incredibly mid book, there will always be something very interesting that'll draw your eye. Like the whole wedding drama, that's some of my favorite X-Men. Like before and after that, Gold is not good, but that particular moment in time, it's like, oh, this is the drama I live for.
Well, and there were rumors at that time, never substantiated, that Kelly Thompson ghost wrote some of the script for Wedding, because it stopped sounding like Mark Guggenheim for like an issue, and then it started sounding like him again.
Yeah, I heard.
But never, because and then Kelly Thompson, of course, wrote Mr. and Mrs. X. But I don't think there's any utility to somebody ghostwriting set. Like, they would just give them the credit. I believe she maybe did a script polish.
Yeah,
on
like a
Guggenheim, perhaps.
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Some plot points, maybe.
Yeah.
And Reaper, his next question: what has the panel and chat been reading? I read yesterday for the first time in about 2 weeks. I realized that I hadn't read anything, and I read Zatanna, Bring Down the House, which was freaking fantastic by Mariko Tamaki. She gets Zatanna. The central thing of the book is that something traumatic happened to Zatanna in her childhood. And so she does not do magic. She only does what she calls tricks. So she has a Las Vegas show where she does like card tricks and stuff, but she won't use magic because of this thing that happened in her past. And it's an effort by a group. Okay, I better turn off the board.
That's Javier Rodriguez, right, on art.
Yeah, the art's really good.
Oh yeah.
I'm
gonna have to quit Discord. Sorry, guys. It's making too much.
That's just me trolling you live.
Oh, that was you.
Me. Yeah.
Now I want to put it back on. What do you like? Hello.
Yeah. Hello. I'm talking about relevant topics. I can participate in 2 or 3 conversations at once.
Is Zatanna a standard size hardcover?
Yeah. Yes, it is. But Javi Rodriguez's art is really, really good.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of groups, magical groups that know she has magic within her, and they deem her dangerous because of this, because she doesn't know how to use it. And it has an appearance by the amazing Constantine as an ex-old boyfriend, and he helps right the ship, and they have a sweet relationship at this point. He takes her to Paris, which is cool, and she always has the top hat on. I love that. But they have and the colors are really good too. As you can see here, they have a really sweet relationship, and I really like how Mariko Tamaki wrote Zatanna and Constantine together, and the art is really, really, really good, and the colors. So this book, candidate for Book of the Year so far.
I'm gonna skip ahead to a question that's
go ahead.
John Powell. Is this Zatanna definitely out of continuity, or can it fit in? Does anything fit in continuity right now? This is my legit, genuine question. Mark Waid's doing like a new history of the DC universe. Like, until we get that, do we even know what continuity is in DC universe right now?
That's a good question if this is in continuity. Because I don't know that it's in current continuity, but it could be in continuity because of the very end, the very end, the last page, and I won't spoil it. I feel I don't know that Zatanna's in continuity right now because she doesn't have an ongoing series.
She does.
She has
She's a mini series, but it's in continuity.
the new one.
The Jamal Campbell one. Yes,
Okay.
it is for sure. It was a little unclear in issue number 1, but issue number 2 made it pretty clear that it exists in the world.
Yeah. So I feel this is Black Label. Are Black Label books?
Yeah, Black Label books, they've said, are all explicitly outside of continuity. They can rely on continuity, they can refer to continuity, and other people can even refer to events in them as if maybe they were canonical, but the actual Black Label book itself is not canonical because they had some confusion early on where they were putting Black Label on things that were just like slightly adult take on things, and I think it was creating some confusion with readers, and so I think they just came out and said, look, if it's Black Label, it's officially to the side. I think Three Jokers probably was what caused that, because Three Jokers was pitched as a regular book, but then it was kind of like regular continuity moved too far down the line for it to be in continuity more. Then they put it out as a Black Label book, but then Chip Zdarsky and his Batman run referred to there being Three Jokers, and they were like, wait, I thought we explained this. And it's like, no, because Black Label books are not in continuity.
So this is Black Label.
Yes.
And it's great. I loved it.
But it's funny because I think some people think Black Label is only like, they're going to have Batwang in it, every single Black Label, because that's how it started. But like that book, that's not like a very adult book, right? Would you say that Zatanna book was inappropriate for youths?
Not at all. It's fine. There's nothing, I mean, other than your typical demons and, magic usage and stuff. No, Constantine teen is like very well behaved in this and very respectful of Zatanna. So that's it's completely fine for all ages, I would say.
Yeah, so I want to dispel that perception that Black Label book just means mature. It's just like a color label of a whiskey. It's just the special distilled edition. It doesn't mean that it's all profanity and batwangs.
I love how you keep referring to that.
That was the first one, Batman Damned, by Brian Azzarello and
Lee Bermejo.
Yeah, that was the first Black Label book. So that's what everybody thought every Black Label book was going to have.
Okay. So how far behind am I here? And here's Project Viking with his obscure books, The Steam Man, Strange Guys Over East Berlin, and I'll leave it up so you can get a screen cap or something. The Rush. Now I haven't heard of these 3 books at all.
No, I've heard of The Rush.
You have?
Yeah.
Like the Troye Sivan song as a comic book, because that's going to be adult content. I have heard of Skies Over East Berlin. Okay. I don't remember if I've read it. Let's take a look. So Steam Man looks like something that I think Omnidog would like, because it kind of looks like Lady Mechanica.
Oh, and where are you looking? Are you looking on the Bozo site?
It's no, it's on Dark Horse's site. It's art by Piotr Kowalski, who I really enjoy, and it's written by Joe Lansdale and Mark Miller. Not R. So I'm not familiar with them, but I am familiar with the artist, and it looks like a steampunky engine guy who it looks really cool. Ooh. This might be the one that I take away. All the interior pages look amazing. I think I might go and read this when this.
Wow! Thank you, Project Viking.
Yeah,
Viking.
I'm having trouble finding The Rush with all the periods in it, though. We'll have to keep looking.
I know it's. I'll look it up. I know where it is.
Is it Size Barrier? No, that one doesn't have periods in
it. Wait. Oh, Remy reading Vampire Archives. That's awesome.
Nice.
And the 2012 Valiant Universe comics. Also just
Another one of my
recently,
favorites.
yeah. Also just recently finished the main Mouse Guard series and Superman Exile Omni. A lot of really good reading there. Anyone?
John Remy must have his Discord notifications turned off, because how does he find that much interrupted time for reading? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is the Spurrier one. It's just that it's in all caps, doesn't have periods.
No.
The Rush?
The Rush, yeah.
Oh, okay. And Brian 12ish wants to know, anyone ever read Dalgoda, the mid-80s Fantagraphics published anthropomorphized space saga. Anthropomorphized.
One of my favorite words.
Yeah, that's a biggie. That's like almost a next to Maginaut level word.
It looks really cool.
Yeah.
With
I am not
Dalgoda or
familiar
the
with
Rush?
it. Dalgoda. I'm not familiar with it at all, but it very much looks like something I would enjoy. I love, because the 80s, I came into comics in the mainstream at that point. I totally missed a lot of indie comics until Image. I think Image was like my introduction to the idea of like, oh, there's things other than Marvel and DC to buy. And so things that happened before Image to me, even though they were contemporaneous with me being alive and reading comic books, they're all just so new to me and always so fascinating. Like I'm finding, it's kind of like if you listen to music that you know is around when you were a kid, but you hadn't heard it when you were a kid, and you're like, I'm uncovering this secret treasure that I never was exposed to before. That's how I feel about learning about indie comics in the 80s. Because I just didn't have a knowledge of them at the time.
Huh. That looks cool.
Yeah.
Is it collected at all? Is there any like legit way to read it, or do we just have to like search for single issues?
Maybe, because I saw Bozo's Omnibus. Yeah, there's an Omnibus.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
It looks like a paperback, but still, yeah, it's a paperback. It's yeah, you can buy it now.
Okay.
$29.99.
Here's Earth Geo. Hi, welcome. Good to see you.
I'm gonna turn on a light.
Remy and Krisis talking to each other. Remy and Krisis talking to each other. Here's Kygon. How you doing? Yeah, I don't know what to do about that, but I'll. Oh, maybe he saw that. Yeah, you're getting kind of fuzzy there, Freddie.
Yeah. Is it any better, or do I need to?
No.
No, you're still pretty fuzzy.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. He's super fuzzy, so I don't know if he's really real. Oh, that's where you got the thing under your this thing.
My name here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where you got the "Is Freddie real" thing.
No, I put it on before. I was gonna put something else.
Oh, okay. Starstruck. Hell yes. Temper. Okay,
I was referring to Elaine Lee's Starstruck with the name. I'm not. I don't have a brain for names today.
That's not the one with like P. Craig Russell art, is it?
No, it's Michael Kaluta.
Oh, okay.
I have one of them, but not both of them. And of course, there's a D&D modified real play on Dimension 20, where her son, Brennan Lee Mulligan, the most famous DM on the internet, other than maybe Matt Mercer, runs a Starstruck campaign. But I was like, wait, this sounds awfully familiar. And then I went to my bookshelf. I'm like, I have that book. But I've never read it. But it looks really cool. And so now it's on the to be read pile. So I was asking, is that obscure? Probably not obscure to the wider internet, because I think Dimension 20 is so popular, but maybe obscure to this particular non-D&D slice of internet. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point, and it goes back to the Tea Dragon Society.
What's that now?
That's an incredibly good point. That it is it's definitely popular in some circles, but in this particular part of the internet, maybe not.
Okay. Like Tea Dragon Society.
Like Tea Dragon, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, right, because for people who are mostly just reading like continuity comics and superhero comics and big 6 or big 8 publisher comics, they don't know about OGNs often because it kind of just like slides right by people's notice when things are original graphic novels, especially something that looks like a kid's storybook. Although I would not say Tea Dragon Society is only for kids. One that I've been reading this week that I've gotten a ton of people hooked on is this new original graphic novel called Reversal. I hadn't seen a single person talked about it. I looked all over social and everything. Nobody was talking about it, but it was by Alex DeCampi, who I usually like. So I got it, and it's like blowing my mind. So I've been talking about it on my show for a couple weeks. I got James to read it. James loves it. I got Max to start reading it. I think Elon's like seeing if he has it at the library. So I'm like, sometimes obscure is just something that nobody's talking about, right? And then once people start talking about it, then you start to find, you know, I'm not going to get into the whole story, but I read this AWA, Artists, Writers, Artisan book earlier this week by Mark Russell. And because everybody loves Mark Russell, I assumed people would be talking about it. And I went on to Blue Sky, which is a pretty big comics community at this point, to discover nobody had even mentioned it. So, you know, like obscure has different levels, right? Obscure in that nobody talks about it, obscure that nobody knows what it is, obscure that most of the people who originally read it may be dead by now. Who knows? You know, there's many different.
Chris Brogan, I don't know how he physically and mentally does it. He when he mentions obscure, he means obscure. He comes home like every week and shows us in the channel on Discord his haul, and it's like a library haul, and it's a stack of 18 books that I've never heard of, and they're all graphic novels, and then he'll get like something from an online retailer, and I'm like, I recognize about a third of those. I don't even, first of all, I don't know how he gets a library that's so cool. And I don't know how he physically reads all of that, but when it comes to obscure, I mean, Chris knows everything about all these graphic novels. It's really amazing, all the stuff he reads.
Well, if I still lived in the States, I mean, one of my favorite things to do, as if I have the money for this, is to just go on the other publishers pre-order, like when I'm using DCBS to make my monthly pre-orders, and just look through all the stuff that like all of these small publishers are putting out, some of which is really cool looking, and that I just don't have the money to spend on it, and sight unseen and not know if I'm going to like it or not. But back when I lived in the States and I was in my decadent phase back in like 2014, 2015, if I saw something with a cool name and it was from an indie publisher, I would just pre-order it. Just get it. So I have from like this very slim period, I have that kind of a shelf where I just have all sorts of random comics that I had never heard of before because I was young and foolish and didn't realize the premium I would put on bookshelf space here in New Zealand 10 years later.
But I have heard of Octopus Pie. I think it changed publishers recently. It used to be a webcomic. I think now it's at Image. I think that I remember seeing like a box set, and it's one of those weird things where because it was a webcomic, some of the comics are different sizes. So it's very interesting seeing it all in a box set, like, you know, fitting in. Some of these are taller, some of these are wider. That's fun.
Michael Landon, Bonanza, and it was Little Joe, his Little House on the Prairie. And then after that, he did a show where he was like an angel helping people. He just mentioned Reversal, but what about FML?
Well, FML is my favorite comic book of the year. It's not collected yet, so I know you're not going to read it in singles, but it's Kelly Sue DeConnick's and David Lopez, two people I know that you like, and it's almost autobiographical. It's like a thinly fictionalized version of Kelly Sue DeConnick's life as a comic book, and with her son is in a punk band, but he gets turned into a giant monster who still wants to play in his punk band. It's just so delightful. I love anything with like punk energy, and I don't just mean that in punk the music genre, but like punk, like super indie, DIY, right? And so the back of every issue of that has back matter that's basically Kelly Sue DeConnick making a zine in the back of her own comic book, which is funny to me. But then also telling you like, go make zines, do stuff, make stuff. And she's this really cool Discord that actually is what got me using Discord more the past couple of months, because I joined it. It was like, join my Discord and talk about zines and stuff. And just like all cool people that like make comic books and make zines and do cool stuff. And so like I'm really into that. I like DIY people. One of my good friends from high school, Kelly, is I don't know what to say, founder, architect, librarian of the Denver Zine Library, which tries to collect a lot of people's like homemade zines and curate them and have a history of zine culture, which is really cool because there's a lot of countercultures that really use zines a lot, especially in the late 90s and early 2000s, to like communicate information about their counterculture, whether it was a music counterculture or a cultural counterculture or whatever. A lot of queer people communicated a lot of their life story through zines that they were just like making on a photocopier and stapling together. So I love zine culture. I think zine culture is very, very punk.
I agree.
Yeah, so I really, really love that. Actually, which brings me to one of my obscure picks that I wonder if anybody has heard of. I discovered this totally by happenstance. There was this anthology in the 80s called Gay Comics, and the comics with an X in the end. And it definitely was X-rated at points. I've had a chance to see a couple of them. But I found it because the only continuity appearance of Sam Keith's The Max that the Max made outside of Image Comics before, now there's like crossovers with Batman, but I'm talking back at the day, he did a short to headline this issue of Queer Comics that had The Max in it. So I was like, oh my gosh, what is this like totally random book, Queer Comics? And so then I got like really into the history of it and why did it exist and who published it. And it was just like underground comics about being queer in the 80s. And it's really interesting to read the history of it because the comics were being made like as HIV/AIDS was decimating, massacring the community, and like the comics, start to react to that a little bit over time. So I really want to get a complete run of them. Like I'm sure not a single issue of it probably even exists in New Zealand, so I'd have to win it on eBay. But that's my super obscurity of the day. I almost put it in the thumbnail, but I was like, no, because it's even too obscure. Nobody will even know what it is. Which is called Gay Comics.
Wow,
really a good pull for obscure. And Harvey, he knows obscure. I just got the new Josh Pettinger comic. I got Tedward. I should go get it. I should actually be in the other room. That's where everything obscure is. I'm in the big 2 room here.
All my obscure stuff is in boxes, really.
There's nothing obscure in this room, but or even remotely independent, I don't think. So let's see. Yes, I've seen that about the Gilded Pages. I'll definitely handle that book very carefully. Most of my childhood is in that book, G.I. Joe.
Same.
Wow. My brothers are so jealous. Nice. I'm always happy to cause sibling rivalry.
Speaking of 80s and obscure LGBT comics, I don't know if you know Ivan Velez Jr. He worked on Milestone Comics in the 90s. He did particularly like some of my favorite Blood Syndicate issues. So I bought something from his website, and I was super like gushing in the comments like, oh, like I really love this, and I want to read more of it. It's unfortunate you don't have that much. And then he sent me this comic that he wrote for free. Like he sent me a few signed comics because he's also Puerto Rican. So when he saw my address, that got him super excited. And one of them was Tales of the Closet, and I have no idea like what time period this is.
I think I've read that. Keep going.
Yeah, Tales of the Closet. I was gonna bring it out, but I thought the same thing. Like this is too obscure. Like this is something that only Harvey and Peter would like.
Yeah, I can't even find it on the Googs right now.
Yeah, I think Harvey's calling us clickbait for not bringing those out.
Oh, he is?
I think so.
I'm way behind.
I'm sorry, who was the person, the artist?
Ivan Velez Jr.
Okay, I found it. No, I think I've heard of it, but I have not read it.
You didn't put something in the thumbnail for obscure comics because it was too obscure? What does that even mean? How? Okay, and now I see what you're saying about Uh, Harvey.
Look, we're trying to ease people into it. We can't just put them on the deep end.
Yeah, we can't put zines all over and then flexi discs for the music in the thumbnail. Here's Jerome. Welcome. Good to see you. Highway to Heaven. Oh, nice. Yeah, I remember watching that. Highway to Heaven. Good poll. Okay, there we go. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Now everybody knows except me. Octopus James the Mediamancer. Welcome. Octopus Pie is so underrated. Should be revered up there with Scott Pilgrim and Lucky Penny. Do you want me to leave that up for Octopus Pie or Lucky Penny or?
No, I'm furiously taking notes. And of course, this is being, I don't know if you know this, but this is being recorded on the internet, Jess.
you were saying, okay, whatever.
I know.
You're taking notes.
Then I realized I was telling you to like, wait, Jess, stop making content. I'm taking notes.
Okay.
I don't know what's got her
I'm
so
trying
bad.
to be accommodating here.
Okay, you done making?
Well, and I don't have my glasses on, so I can't actually see the screen. But, you know.
Oh, yeah. Okay, peace and love, Chris. There we go. Yeah, I think I saw this I got about 10 messages into the crazy chat on the Discord, and I think I saw James may have posted reversal. So this has been collected?
Yes, it is an OGN. Apparently it was originally a webtoon, but this is a physical book. You can order it right now.
Okay, gonna. I have it written down. I went reversals on Hoopla. My Hoopla is broken, so I have to go to the library and reinstate it. And I haven't read anything on Hoopla since like September because I need to renew my library card at the next county over, and so I'm not. I mean, that was on my to-do list back in September, and I still haven't done it yet. Surprising no one, especially upper management, I bet.
I did pre-order a Peter book. Welcome to Maynard.
Oh yeah.
Jess is gonna love that so much. I can't wait until he reads it.
Right. Okay, I'm writing that one down too because that's on a different note that's like across the room somehow because it was a sticky note and traveled with a book over to my chair. So let me write that here. Okay, welcome.
I'm really getting back into physical lists lately. It's like a phase I go through. You know, I have all my spreadsheets, and then I like Trello, but at a point, I just think there's something very satisfying to physically writing something down. I think there's a brain connection when you physically write something down that like embeds the thing deeper into your brain than just copying and pasting it onto a list. And then I do love crossing things off. So I think it's kind of like when I'm in my real hyper efficient, like getting stuff done, I was like, make thumbnail for Jess. Crossed off.
Freddie gave me a notebook, and today he sent me a couple ideas for videos. So I need to write those in here. Where did you? I'm in like 3 different chats
Messenger,
with Freddie.
yeah.
Freddie texts me, and then we talk on Messenger. Where was that? A text or a messenger?
No, I text you my nonsense, and then on Messenger I put the things for you because you know Messenger has that find feature. So I only put the important. I try to only put the important stuff there on our one-on-one chat.
Okay, let's see. Freddie reacted with, oh wow, oh yeah. Yeah, these are 2 really good. Okay, good. They're on Messenger, so I will write those down in the Harley book.
Yeah.
Nice, which I have right here. My favorite K. O'Neill work is Aquacorn Cove. That is supposed to be great. I don't know why I don't have
that
it.
too. I
wonder
I'd
if
have
I-
to go and look in Kid Crisis's room.
I'd have to go look. I feel like that might be in the closet shelf of shame. I have books. It's got the closet has a couple of shelves in there, and that's where I put a bunch of overflow books. I'm far more interested in OGN than superhero comics. Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay, wait. And now I'm going back. Superstar by Busick and Immonen is a very good obscure book. Guerrilla Comics, how long did they last? 6 months? Superstar by Busick and Immonen?
I have no idea what that is.
I don't either.
Eminem has all sorts of really cool indie stuff. I think I went on a tear at some point in like 2012 because I was really into Catherine Eminem at that point because she was writing Journey into Mystery with Sif. And so I was like, ooh, what else has she written? And so I discovered that, they've clearly worked together a lot on indie stuff. And one of them is called like Olive or something. But I remember having like a whole little stack of Eminem and Eminem books that I probably didn't read all of, knowing me. They're probably still in a stack somewhere in the stacks.
Oh, it's from that very underground publisher called Image.
Okay.
Yeah, but we could, you know what? Harvey Picar's Ghost can joke all that he wants to joke, but just because something comes out on Image does not mean everybody knows that it exists and it was a hit and it's findable. Some things come out in Image and they get just as little marketing as things from other companies, and they only have a 5,000 book print run like from other companies. Mm-hmm. Image is just a publisher. It doesn't connote popularity just because your book came out on Image. There are plenty of incredibly obscure books that have come out on Image over the years.
In contrast to what Peter's saying, I love this cover because it says he's Earth's greatest hero as long as his ratings hold up, as seen on TV.
Oh, okay. I remember this book. I think I have this somewhere. Show me it again.
Oh, give me a second. Lock my phone. There we go.
Well, oh yeah, that does look familiar now. Yeah. Okay.
But it's true. I have a lot of really obscure Image books that some of them are a little bit older than others, but nobody talks about them. Nobody.
Yeah, I think that's the point that we're trying to do is even with the music, we want people to read these books. So we're like, especially with like Tea Dragon Society, that it's not really obscure. It won an Eisner, but we want people talking more about it and reading it and stuff like that. So that tangents over to, or a line can be drawn from that to the Image books, because I have some Image books. I may just have to move the whole thing into the other room because that's where all these Image books are that nobody knows about. It's not like they're all Spawn and Savage Dragon or something. There's a bunch of Image books that, as Peter said, have low print runs.
Jess is like, can I share the good news about Spawn? It's a little indie book I love called Spawn.
That is something that I doubt will ever happen.
I don't know. I caught you reading G.I. Joe. We said that never happened.
on the video. Yeah. Elon just started reading Hellblazer by Jamie Delano. Love Hellblazer. Well, that's a good question. I think we just tried to answer it there with our Image discussion for 60 seconds.
Well, I think, somebody just below that brought up ecstatics in the chat. We all three of us clearly know what ecstatics are. And probably I would wager many of the people in the chat are familiar with ecstatics because we live in an omnibus world where we all know it because it exists as a Marvel omnibus. Many of us are X-Men fans and we know obscure X-Men stuff. But if you just go into like a general Marvel, Reddit or Discord or whatever, and we're like, where are my ecstatics fans at? A lot of people are going to be like, you're what? What was that an X book that starts with an X? Like, people don't know what that is. And certainly if you go to anybody who's not like hardcore comics, if you just find your friend that occasionally buys an issue of Batman or Amazing Spider-Man every couple of months to check out because he noticed it at the bookstore and says like, oh, do you know what ecstatics is? They're not going to know. So obscure has levels. Like, we sometimes forget that our community is not only hyper aware of all things comics, but very specifically hyper aware of things that are in high-end collected editions. And so I probably could name some X-Men stuff that would be super obscure to some of you because it's never been collected, right? Like that, although one issue is in the Ecstatics Omnibus, there's that miniseries, The Brotherhood, right? Many people don't even know that exists because only one issue of it has ever been collected. So I think as a community, things tend to be less obscure to us if it has ever been oversized, because then we've like noticed it and we've seen Omar make an announcement about it and we've seen the adorable Omnidog do an overview of it,
And I'll go with the trauma level. I'll say we are all painfully aware that trouble exists, yet ask a Spider-Man fan on the street if they know what that is.
You should hand it out to them on the street like a religious tract. Get a deal for like 100, and just hand them out. Can I tell you the good news about trouble?
Okay.
Okay. That's my rant for this minute.
It's a good one.
So, but that's why I like the topic of obscure. I feel like we could do this every month. I want to play a little game at one point, maybe about music between me and Jess. And because Jess and I like such different music from each other, even though we like a lot of the same things that we pass back and forth, that I bet we could go for like an hour naming things the other one has never heard. But that doesn't make, they'll be obscure to each other. Some people in the chat, Mary M in the chat knew one of my artists that's on the thumbnail, Tracy Bonham, one of the artists the most influential to me ever, who had one pretty big modern rock hit in the 90s, but she's been making records ever since then. Her records are always great. She's got one on Kickstarter right now that needs like another $10,000 to be made. But, not obscure to me, not obscure to anybody I went to high school with, because they all remember that song and they remember me playing it incessantly. But obscure, do you remember Tracy Bonham, Jess?
I do remember that name, and I remember that she had a song in the 90s.
I'll only play a phrase. I won't get you demonetized, but it's
Okay.
Mother, how's the family? I'm just calling to say hello. Anyway, but she's fantastic.
I like that.
Yeah, you would probably really like her.
I mean, I think he just stopped giving an F about monetization last video. He just started playing music randomly in the background.
Mystery Society by Staples and Niles, a great obscure book. I have
Love that book.
Yeah, that is a great book.
It's a good one.
William Lee, welcome. The Strange Ones by Jeremy Jusset is another obscure one I love.
Strange Ones.
Strange Ones. Okay, now are these out of print? The Rogue and Mr. and Mrs. X books? The Rogue and Gambit books?
Who was it? Jeremy Jusset, the creator?
Which one? Oh, the Strange Ones?
Yeah, okay. It looks cool.
Okay. Prophet is by Brandon Graham.
Yeah, well, they weren't obscure to me because I, of course, know my Indies image very, very well. And so it's always funny to me when Image is like bringing back the obscure property from the 90s glory. I'm like, oh, I know what glory is. But because there was no like IP based on them. And because Extreme kind of folded for a decade and went away, a lot of Extreme stuff for anybody who started reading comics in the 2000s was obscure. And I mean, Wildcats, even though to me it's like, how could you not know what Wildcats is? But to a modern reader, especially during like DC New 52, why would you know what Wildcats is? Like DC hadn't published a Wildcat book for several years. Wildstorm didn't make it in really, into New 52. So obscure, levels of obscurity. So yeah, to me, Prophet is not obscure, but that's because I was there for the original Stephen Platt Prophet comic books.
Okay, and I remember Glory. I bet over in the other room where I should move the show, I have some trades of it.
I have every issue of the original 90s Glory for a bind. I hunted them all down.
Okay, well, I caught up. Sleeping, Remy. Okay, Starstruck.
Uh-oh, he's gone.
He's gone.
Maybe that means he's went to the other room.
Maybe.
So, Freddie, and what's another one of you have one on the thumbnail that I had never heard of. It's a series of 3 OGNs, I want to say, that you gave me in the list. But what is that? I'd never heard of that before.
Well,
I just took us off the air for a sec.
Oh, you took
us
off?
we were. I think we were here. I think you were just gone.
Oh, okay. There's Freddie. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
We assumed you're moving to the other room.
Chat, were we on or were we off? I don't know.
I got sent to the shadow realm.
Okay.
My touchpad, I accidentally went like that. I swiped right, and I got sent to the shadow realm. Yeah, exactly. You were on. Oh, okay. These two were
thank
on.
you.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I wasn't. Okay, good.
Okay, so that.
So yeah, what is your obscure one that I put in the thumbnail? I've never heard of that.
Okay, well, actually, to give credit, Fariha put me on that book.
Oh, our good
Which
friend.
book is that? Oh, I missed it.
It's in the thumbnail, Jess.
Oh, okay. Wait, let me look at the thumbnail. Oh, New Kid.
New Kid, Jerry Craft. It's won an award, and I know this because there's a sticker thing here.
Oh.
So someone knows about it. But yeah, I feel like it's still a very obscure in our community.
Okay, so people do know Tracy Bonham.
Apparently. They did a great drop of it on Yellow Jackets season 1. There was a great drop of that song. Yeah. Yellow Jackets has great music supervision. Really, really great songs from the 90s all throughout the series.
I have Alienated. Oh, F this. I'm going to go into the other room.
Let's go.
One day I'll take you down to the stacks. That'll be fun. We can just start opening short boxes.
I'll have to make a second trip because all my
all your books are there.
Yeah, all my books for this obscure stream are here, and my album. Everything interesting in my collection is in this room. I should just bring my setup in here from now on.
You should have 2 setups.
Well, yeah. I think I have the thing that made me think of Alienated is, yeah, here it is. This is where this side of the desk here has all the cool stuff. I remember loving this Cy Spurrier book, and also the Spire, which is Cy Spurrier. I tried to have a Cy Spurrier library. Coda got an oversized hardcover, so I guess that's not obscure anymore. I think I shouted about Coda a lot.
You did, yeah.
But there's another. There was another one by Cy Spurrier when I found Spire that I feel like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff in this room that's obscure to, I think, the general populace. Like Flash and Supergirl and Green Lantern.
I never heard of them.
I lied. There is DC in this room too.
Explain to me, what even is a lantern?
It's this thing that Green Arrow can shoot and break, apparently, on the cover of number 76. It's made of glass.
If King Kong hasn't been a Green Lantern, I don't want to know about that.
Hey, I have, speaking of, I'll tell you a great book that's obscure. Speaking of,
those are the noises I would be making if I had to move anywhere after my swimming today.
I'm on my knees, and that's not good. Planet of the Apes.
Twerking before, it was pretty cool.
Planet of the Apes, Green Lantern. Have you heard of this book, Freddie? I know
Yeah, you've showed it before, yeah.
Yeah, I've talked about this book. This book is excellent. This is the CBLDF cover, but there's a ring that's so powerful that the Guardians expel it into an obscure galaxy where nobody knows that there's any life there. So it's just too powerful a ring, and it lands in the Planet of the Apes universe. And of course, Sinestro's on it right away, trying to track down this ring. And so then Hal and the other Guardians and the apes are wearing, the apes put the thing on and the ring on, and they become these powerful apes. And it's really amazing. I loved this book. This is the hard. It is hardcover. I think it's still in stock from Boom. There's also a trade paperback of it.
I don't know, because the first thing I'm seeing from Bozos is $90.
Yeah, well, it's been away for a while, so I don't think they've ever reprinted it.
Even for the paperback, I think you have to go to Boom itself to get this hardcover.
Okay, let me go to Boom.
Or no, maybe the CBLDF. I bet James knows because I think James has put this up for me before. James, where do we go to get this book? Oh, James, that's not what I.
It's not what we wanted to know, but
oh,
the truth. Yeah, it's the hardcover's $80. Meanwhile, the paperback's $90.
Okay, sorry. Forget this book exists.
I'll try. You know,
I'll put that
probably
out.
Still in DC Ultra. Are the? Oh no, am I frozen?
It's a Boom book.
Yeah, frozen. But we can hear you.
I might have to reload. I'll come right back.
You know, I had a book that I gave away, and I've been considering asking for it back. It is Alien Superman. It's by Chuck Dixon and oh gosh, who else?
I don't think I've read
Dan
that.
Jurgens, and Kevin Nolan was the inker. Yeah, okay.
There we go.
Now Freddie's gone. We're having problems.
Gone?
What?
What?
No, he's not.
Am I?
Can you see Freddie? I can't see Freddie. There he is.
Do you see him now?
Yes.
Okay, Freddie's like right there.
Yeah. I should take us down to the stacks. Maybe that's what we'll do next month.
Okay.
I just don't know if the internet will be strong enough in my garage. Plus, I'll have to wear I'll be in a hazmat suit going through because it's so dusty and spidery. But all the stacks are in short boxes, all sealed up.
I read Coda based on Jess's recommendation. I love to hear that. Thank you, Remy. I loved it. Spurrier is probably among my top 10 favorite current writers in the industry. I agree with that.
The cover I had for the paperback, I can't find like a less blurry copy, so this is a different cover. Superman Aliens. So I gave this away, and I'm just like, I'm an idiot. But it wasn't in great condition though.
I have to go back to the other room because of my it has a chair.
Okay.
But I'll go back and forth because I'm unplugged. Oh, I left the other books in here. What's going on?
Just leave them there. You'll be back.
Yeah, I'll probably be back here anyway. Okay, maybe I should put them in the middle of the hall.
Just bring them upstairs to your comfy chair.
Yeah.
I do think there's something very appealing to just be like, I'm streaming from my floor. I've got a big stack of comics here, and I'm putting them on the shelf. So talk to me, you know.
Okay, I'll be doing that.
Joy in that.
Let me bring the discussion to music for a sec. I have a lot of good obscure music. This is Widow's Peak Almanac.
It's giving me kind of like early Fleetwood Mac vibes just on an image, but what genre is it?
Yeah, it's hard. She sings, and she's got a really lovely voice that's kind of soft. And he plays all these rocking, hard-edged guitars in the background. So if you know Lush, it's not as angular. It's not as much angular guitar as Lush. And there's only one woman singing, and she's I don't know if that's a really good comparison. But this is one of my all-time favorite albums, and it's
I definitely don't have it.
She's got a soft, breathy voice, and he's just got these just complete hard-edged rock guitar parts in the background. So this is something that I kind of doubt many people know, and honestly, I don't remember how I found out about him. It's kind of a and I really had to go to Discogs to get, because it's been on my phone for so long. I had to go to Discogs to see if there was even vinyl of it, and it's in this packaging that's all different. That's like a burlap.
Oh well, I assumed that was an album from the 70s or something. It's from
Oh, no.
2013.
Oh no,
What?
yeah.
It's the Rate Your Music says its genres are dream pop, neo psychedelia, and Americana.
That sounds right. The dream pop. I know Ilan is really into dream pop, so you would dig this, I think, Ilan. Neo psychedelia. I love it. What was the third one?
The third one was Americana.
Americana. Okay.
But that was like a sub-genre, so maybe not. Yeah. Well, I never have anything physical to show, although I do have the CD of this somewhere deep in the stacks downstairs. But the one, it's on the very far left of the thumbnail at the bottom, Trip 66. So this is, I would be shocked if anybody has heard of this. But back in Philly in the 90s, there was this great radio station called WDRE. And they were the alternative rock radio station, but they also would play a lot of local artists that were recording. And Philly had a pretty cool indie rock scene at that point that eventually some artists came out of, like Dr. Dog and War on Drugs. Those are Philly bands from like the earlier 2000s. But so at one point they put out this sampler of all Philly artists, and some of them got big enough that they started to get national notice. G-Love was one of those. And so Trip 66 was this band, and I think they're kind of like early Paramore in that it was like a couple of them were related, and they had all been teenagers writing songs together, and they got scouted and signed to a major label, and they put out this one record, and nothing I've ever heard from the 90s ever sounded like it again. It was kind of like a little bit of psychedelia. It was rock and kind of hard rock, and it had a woman vocalist, but she was like 17 years old. She had a little bit of like a Janis Joplin quality to her, but she also was like a really powerful belter. The only thing I've ever heard that it reminds me of is when Audio Slave came out, when Chris Cornell joined Audio Slave. I was like, oh, Trip 66 used to sound like this, but it's just a whole record of like really hard, not hard rock, but like hard alternative rock, harder than Veruca Salt, harder than Liz Phair. I'm like trying, like almost in the same galaxy as L7, but like really, really melodic, definitely like a little bit of a Led Zeppelin influence on some of the guitars maybe. And they're just a random local band. And I think about them all the time because I'm like, what did they grow up and do? Like, I want to just like find them, I guess not on Facebook because I'm locked out of Facebook, but it was this family, Maria Nagorski and Paul Nagorski, and they put out this one record. It didn't go anywhere. They got dropped from their label. And I always wonder about those people who were like local and they got picked up for one record and it didn't really get played and it's in discount bins. And then what did they do the rest of their lives? Where did they go to college? What is their job now? So I wish I knew. Seems like
it sounds like a group I would like. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I know yours and my Venn diagram in the middle is definitely bands fronted by women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know we both like that a lot. And that's, this group's not obscure. This is why, wait a sec. I took upper management to see them in the early 90s. That may have been the final concert where she said, okay, that's it. I love you, but I'm not into your music. And that's the Primitives. I think they were popular for a while because I have several of their CDs. And the Primitives had a female singer, and she was great. But it's kind of like... I'm trying to think how to describe it. It was played on WHFS here, which was like the alternative rock station. So that's the best thing I could say. It's alternative rock type music, but her voice was wonderful, and they were really catchy. I think it's not in the same vein as Garbage, but I think they're kind of Garbage. Like a line of if you take a line off of Garbage, the Primitives could be there, and same with the Heartthrobs. Those were two female-led bands that I like.
I'll have to definitely check out the Primitives. I don't think I have that either.
I feel well. I should know better than to say I feel certain you'd like it, but because you and I have different tastes, but we definitely vibe on garbage, and so I think you might. It's very catchy.
Would you say, so I know it's like a little bit jangle. Where would you put it in relationship to one of my all-time favorites, Till Tuesday, fronted by Amy Mann? Do you remember Till Tuesday?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Would you say it's in that same galaxy of like early alt-rock / jangle?
The Primitives?
Yeah.
I would say it's not as... I wouldn't think Till Tuesdays. I do love Till Tuesday, but I don't think I feel like they're. It's so hard to compare some of this stuff.
You never can say they sound the same, but the way I think about it is like, if I put these two in a playlist together, like, would it sound like they were related? Like, would it sound like I like made a good mixtape? Because it's Till Tuesday. At the time, they were kind of jangle, but I listen to that now and I'm like, well, that was just what alt rock sounded like in the 80s, kind of like REM, 10,000 Maniacs, like that. Given the production of the 90s, it would sound like the 90s, but it was made in the 80s, so it sounds different,
Yeah, I think it's harder edged. I think the Primitives are harder edged, not as hard edged as Garbage, but harder edged than Till Tuesday.
Okay, well, I will be listening to them because that sounds very much my jam.
Oh, has anyone watched the John Mulaney show? I'm including the chat in this one because I imagine you two haven't.
I saw a little bit. Well, it's on Netflix. Yeah, I saw a little bit of it.
No. He did last year. Netflix has this comedy festival, and since everybody was in LA, he made a daytime talk show, but it was in the evening, called Everybody's in LA, where he just had people to do insane he'd have a topic like, oh, I'm making this one up. This one was, and I'm blanking on real topics. Like, he'd do let's talk about bed bugs. This episode's about bed bugs. So he'd have, oh, hey, here's oh gosh, I'm just gonna make up names now. Real people.
That sounds great. I love John Mulaney.
So he'd have a celebrity or come in like a A-list or top B-lister, and then he'd have a specialist on the topic. Then he'd invite 2 more comedians to come in, and he'd be taking phone calls during the show.
I saw that's one of the segments I saw of him just talking to random people, because it was now that Netflix has the ability to broadcast live. I think they're playing with live format, so he was just like, call us, we're on Netflix, and he's just talking to people.
Yeah, so this is season 2 they're doing now, and I sent you something from season 1 where they had old punks where they put them all in a van and then dragged them to do a question and answer session. It was great.
Did you see the one with every person who's played
Death
of the Salesman? That was a good one.
Brilliant. So a bunch of actors, including people that worked in high school productions of Death of a Salesman, that portrayed the protagonist, are just in a room answering questions like, hey, what would the main character say about kids and phones? Should they have more screen time? Should they not?
Concept, yeah.
Just beautiful. So he has, at the end of the episodes, they have a musical guest, and I don't know if it was on the most recent one or the second most recent. They had a band called Pussy Mannequin, and the entire
I know them. Yeah, I know them. From Philly.
Oh, you know? Okay, great. So
I think. Hold on, I have to look that up.
It was their first time on TV, and John Mulaney kept hyping them up. Oh, Pussy Mannequin, such a great
Mannequin Pussy.
Maybe.
Yeah, they're from Philly.
Okay. Well, that was their first time on TV.
I have their record, yes.
Nice. Okay. So then you know exactly what they sound like. And when they came on at the end, everybody was totally unprepared. It was like that scene from Back to the Future, like, oh, your kids are going to love this.
Yeah, I will say that record, it's a little harder than I go because I'm a big melody junkie, but it's so well done that I'm like, well, I can't say that I don't like it. It's just not something I'm gonna play a lot, but it's really cool.
Yeah. Oh, they were great. It's just even I, who loved it, was totally caught unprepared. Like, whoa, okay.
Masaya Yoshi Tanaka and Cassiopeia. Is this music that we're talking about now?
I don't know. I don't know.
James,
I assume music. I think we're deep into the music.
are we in music now? Because I think, we've gotten into the music segment. Bo, welcome. I loaned out Domu by Atomo without knowing it was out of print and super pricey. Oh, thankfully I got it back. What film means more to the people of Philadelphia? Philadelphia, Sixth Sense, or Rocky?
So Rocky is the quintessential Philadelphia film, and I think that even though I haven't lived there for 8 years, so maybe people don't feel this way anymore, but it just the underdog quality of Philadelphia, I think, is very much expressed in Rocky, and it's got so much Philadelphia neighborhoods, which I guess now would be unrecognizable to a lot of people in Philadelphia, but to me, that's Philadelphia that I grew up in, that my family grew up in, especially South Philly Italian market he runs by, and that's where I grew up. Sixth Sense is not as grounded in it being about Philly. It's like it's in Philly and it's very recognizably Philly, but it's not. I don't know that I would say thinking about something that's very Philly area, like Mayor of Easttown, that is very authentically. I mean, that's outside of Philly and Delco, but it's close by. I want to say Silver Linings Playbook also.
Yeah,
was like right outside of Philly, and that because Bradley Cooper's from Philly, so Bradley Cooper really like does the accent. And he just knows, like when you hear Bradley Cooper talk in an unguarded way, I'm like, he's from Philly because he's my Tina Fey grew up like 2 blocks from where I lived in Philly, right outside of Philly, right before we moved here in Upper Darby. So you can always tell when it's like a real one, like a real Philly person, because the accent comes out eventually. Mine doesn't as much anymore because it's been beaten out of me in theater and also living in New Zealand. But if we had somebody else from Philly on the stream, you would hear my accent more come out.
Oh, you go right into it? Okay.
I'd go right into hoagie mouth. Hoagie.
To go back to James the Media Mancer. Masayoshi Tanaka is a Japanese animator, so I guess movies, and Cassiopeia is a Japanese jazz fusion band.
Oh, okay.
So send that recommendation to Max.
Yeah, Max would like that recommendation. I was in LA when Lone Justice was a big deal for a hot minute. I also really liked oh heck, I'll think of it in a sec, because they both came out about the same time and they were both led by women. I thought Lone Justice was like the mid 80s, so I liked Lone Justice.
One I don't know,
but I really liked what's this other group? I can't think. It'll pop into my mind in a sec. Wow. Based on Peter's description, I just bought Trip 66 CD for under $10 on eBay.
Yeah, because it's not on Spotify because it's like so old and they never signed a streaming deal on like I guess the whatever record company holds the rights decided not to monetize it. Okay. So yeah, I would love to know. I would love to find out where they are, my Philadelphia brethren. And I just immediately bookmarked Lone Justice because it looks like something I'd really like. That made me think of, do you remember from the early 90s Mary Lou Lord? So she was like in the scene, and so she knew all these people like Elliott Smith, and I think she like knew Kurt Cobain, but she was just this like indie folk person. And she had this record Real in 1993 that was like okay, but she just never really broke through. And then the kind of whole women alt rockers of the 90s happened, and she kind of missed that boat. And then she put out another record in 1998 called Got No Shadow that is like one of my favorite records. It's so good. Every song in it sounds like a song that you already know the first time you hear it. And it was kind of like a little Elvis Costello influenced, maybe I would say, but it's not that she was trying to sound like him. Just a lot of the instrumentation has that very kind of 12-string chimey quality of Elvis Costello. And it's just like a perfect record. And it's just so funny because I only knew her by reputation of Rolling Stone would like write about her a lot, and I would never understand because I was like, she just has this one record from 1993, but I think she was just in the scene. And then it took me until probably 2018 to finally listen to record Got No Shadow, and I was like, oh well, this is a masterpiece. But I think she's pretty obscure unless you were like reading Rolling Stone every month in the 90s, which I was. That was my holy Bible. I had a lifetime subscription to Rolling Stone, and I read it every month.
Oh my gosh. Mark Spector and my Jake Lockley, you're actually watching me live. This is my friend from Sweden that I have an email relationship with, and he's constantly yelling at me to read more European comics, and not in a subtle way. But Krisis, have you heard of a New Zealand metal band called Shepherd's Reign? Their song Alamai is amazing. May or may not be an obscure metal band. Good to see.
There's some good metal in New Zealand. I bet Bo, even though Bo is from across the ditch in Australia, I bet Bo could probably school me on some. Although doesn't Beyond Comics like metal too?
Oh yeah, I think he does. Yeah.
I bet Beyond knows them. We'll have to ask Beyond. Are you still here? Let me go. Oh, hold on. Let me get in Discord and see if Beyond knows who they are.
And Phaser Days. I showed that on a show a few months ago, and you said, "Oh, that's a New Zealand woman, and she does like the whole thing."
Yeah, I love Phaser Days.
Yeah. Peter DeLuca with a comics question. Hey, Justin Crew, how are you planning on collecting the Krakoa Omnis? I'm not going to collect many of the Omnis myself, since I spilled out so much dosh on the trades and other oversized hardcovers and things like that.
Yeah, to recap, Jess has the oversized hardcovers of when they were originally coming out in that format, and then he got the Dawn of X trade paperbacks of the Reign of X, and up until when it ended in, what was the last one?
Trials of X?
Trials of X, which did not complete, so then he started getting the Finn paperbacks of the series, so he has the entire thing, including some of the event Omnis, so he does not need anything else. I did not go that route. I got the OHCs. I'm sorry, Jess, I interrupted. You want to keep talking?
No. Okay. You know my collection
please
better than I do.
Please continue to explain Jess's collection to Jess.
Yeah.
I love it.
You know my collection better than I do. Krisis knows my X-Men collection better than I do. It's fine.
We helped organize it, okay? We have two videos together, and Peter did 3. Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the origin story of this show.
Yeah.
So great question, Peter. So I got the OHCs, and then I got the Finn paperbacks of stuff that isn't an OHC. I did not get the Dugan paperbacks because I suspected as much that we were gonna get an Omni of it. So that's what I got. That's the only like new Omni for Krakoa that I got. Like the Al Ewing, I'm ignoring it. I have all the paperbacks. And Peter says this is nonsense. I'm not gonna invite it physically in my house.
Well, okay, now you're frozen, at least for me.
Okay.
Here's my thing. I keep refining this because I know so many people have Krakoa questions that I want to try to like make a good version of it. If you're thinking about Krakoa, you're thinking about the period that Hickman was in charge, the first 2.5 years, the plot is very spread out across the line. It's not just Hickman. Hickman is like introducing concepts, and other people are just picking them up. Then from 2022 to the end, in the middle of 2024, I would say that the plot is like a stool with 4 legs, and those 4 legs are Duggan, Spurrier, Ewing, and Gillen, and the 4 of them are driving the plot. There's other interesting stuff. There's Leah Williams doing Exterminators. There's Teamy Howard doing Captain Britain. There's other interesting things happening at Brazondon. Alpha Flight Mini I really like, but none of them have plot. The only real like Krakoa plot is happening with things that are held up by the 4 legs of the stool. And then Ben Percy kind of exists off to the side of that the whole time. It turns out that like nothing that happens in X-Force super influences the main Krakoa plot. Nothing that happens in Wolverine super influences the main Krakoa plot. So it's part of why these omnibuses are so interesting is I think there's a lot of incentive to want to buy these Dawn of X ones if they're going to comprehensively collect everything starting from after Hoxpox all the way to Inferno, because at that time the stories kind of just floated back and forth across a lot of the books in the line, and so that's very attractive, and that's going to take 5 or 6 books, I think. Then there's the 5 or 6 books that would collect everything after that. But really, it's kind of almost attractive to just have the creator omnibuses. So they already announced a Duggan one. They've already announced a Ewing one. If they announce a Gillen one, I don't know if they'd ever announce a Spurrier one. I don't know if he's a big enough name. At that point, I feel like I don't know if you need the reading order omnibuses for the back half anymore, because you've got the big spokes of plot. Would I still want a reading order omnibus? Absolutely, yes. But I just think that they're lessening the demand for the back half right now by putting out the Duggan book and the Ewing book, because if you put out all 4 of those, you've kind of taken care of all the big parts of plot. So am I going to buy them? I need to see somebody with a physical copy of Dawn of X Volume 1 flip through it and show the reading order. And that is when I will decide, based on whoever puts the first overview out that shows the table of contents, that is when I will decide if they're coming to my house. Because if the order isn't going to be better than I could put it together digitally myself based on like Tyler's reading order, then why would I buy it? They're all on Marvel Unlimited. But if the order is like, oh damn, yeah, because Professor X at one point gets stabbed and then he's not in an X-Men issue because he's like, if it's in that order, then great, because nothing's really done that. Even the anthology trades are not perfectly sorted in that way. So I'm still refining. I still got to get that whole sales pitch like another 75 seconds shorter. But that's my big brain take on the book. The end.
Nice. And going back, Scott's right. The primitives are closer to the sugar cubes than Till Tuesday. Could be on the same playlist for sure, though. Yeah, sugar cubes. I took upper management to see the sugar cubes in concert, too.
Whoa, cool.
Nice.
The very first thing, we were still dating. So this one of our first dates was not our first date, but early in our relationship, 1987. I took her to see Susie and the Banshees, and
wow,
my wife is a like preppy girl from New Hampshire, and she said I was just in the bathroom, and all these girls had their hair teased up to the sky and they're wearing black eyeliner and everything. I said, yeah, we're at Susie and the Banshees. That's what they're going to do. Every guy's going to be like that too. So it's just like, I don't want to go back into the bathroom. I just want to sit with you. And I said, they're not going to hurt you. They're just, they're just fans. They look different than you. So, but I think that she saw the Mighty Lemon Drops with me, Sugar Cubes with me, Susie and the Banshees, I feel like the Primitives. I definitely did not take her to see the Ramones. I went by myself to see the Ramones twice. I feel like the Primitives might have been the last shot I gave her, and she went back to listen to her Barbra Streisand albums or whatever.
I gotta say, Jess, it's so obvious that she loves you whenever she shows up on the chat or on the video, but to hear how much she endured going with you to these shows, you get a whole new sense of it.
Think about life with me.
Yeah.
We've been together since 1987, almost 40 years. Talk about enduring something. She's endured me since 1987. And hasn't left. I mean, this has to be real love. There's no question. Endurance.
Well, she's very wise. I feel like if there's a Patreon tier of an imaginary Omnidog Patreon that was wisdom from upper management once a month streams, I would sign up for that.
Yeah. Actually, she does give good advice. She is
just in that one conversation we had. I felt like I was like taking notes for all the things she was saying.
Omnidog's Vault offers tarot readings. It offers horoscopes. It offers life advice by Patty.
I can't believe I missed tarot. Do you know how many tarot cards I have? Do you know how obsessed I am with tarot cards? I can't believe I missed that.
When I had Cliff on solo, he did a tarot reading on me. When we did our show, and he said, what's your question? And I said, will I ever overcome my fear of traveling? And he was sort of, he wasn't taken aback, but he said, oh, usually it's love and success people want to know about. And I'm like, well, at this point in my life, I got love and I was successful, but now I'm retired. And so I have this almost paralyzing fear of traveling that I'm trying to get over. and he did the most insightful, interesting tarot reading. It was almost like therapy. He was so insightful that I don't know if I've properly conveyed to him how much that meant to me. He really, that was really amazing.
Well, the wonderful thing about tarot, which I love, is that it's just a means of asking questions. And if you're with somebody who's a very good listener and really good at getting information from you and guiding you, it's no different than being in a therapist's office. I mean, a therapist has accredited tools to work with, but somebody who kind of understands what questions to ask about each of the 78 cards, whether they're right side up or upside down, it's just a guided talk therapy session that can help you explore how you feel about anything, really. And like to try to assign some supernatural quality to it. It's kind of like, is a magic trick supernatural because you force a card pull? Like, no, I love the mechanics of how magic trick works. Like, no, it's not magic. It's just using human psychology to produce an expected result. And I think that tarot is very, very similar in that way, that if you know it really well and you know how to use it, it can seem magical, but it's actually just a really good way to guide people through their feelings on something. The cards don't have to be predictive. You don't have to be like, oh, it's the Fool, but it's upside down, so you're going to make wise decisions. Like, that doesn't, it's like, well, what do you think about making wise decisions in this situation? Like, you just use it to guide. So yeah, I'd love to come on and do tarot. I mean, I'm not good at reading. I love tarot cards. I have so many sets of tarot cards, and I love being read. I'm not quick enough to read, I don't think. But I'd love to get on with Cliff and talk about it sometime.
Okay, I'll make that happen. Because he only did 4 cards. It was a DC deck, so like Green Lantern was on one, Aquaman was on one. It was really great.
I have a Vampirella deck around here somewhere.
Ooh,
yeah.
So I think they can go longer than 4 cards, right? Can they be?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you do the full cross, it's like 8, 10. I mean, it's I think it's. But there's all different ways to use it because you just use the meaning of the cards to ask questions. So you could do one. Some people just pull one every morning and like ask themselves a question and then use that for the day. Yeah.
Yeah, it really meant a lot to me. I need to go back and watch that. Oh wait, is Johnny here? Oh,
Freddie, are you gonna buy the Krakoa omnibuses, Freddie?
Oh hell no! I don't want to read. I don't want to even look at X-Force and Wolverine anymore. Like you're saying, like you mentioned. Oh, it's important because something happens to Xavier. You don't. It's so. It was so blah to like see it. Like every other series I read like 5 series that were talking about it before it happened, and then when I read it, I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, no, I have the OHCs. I don't need it. I'm trying to not do this thing where I have 3 paperbacks and then I get like a full complete collection. I'm like, why did I do this to myself? This isn't a completely acceptable format.
Yeah, I'm feeling very shoppy lately, so I'm really getting some stuff. Stuff is really getting to me. The room is already full. I don't need, I can just shop from the room. But I'm just having that. Anyway, sorry, I cut off talking to Johnny. What was Johnny saying?
Oh, I was just acknowledging that Johnny was in the chat. He's from Finland. He's my buddy from Finland. Does the film Blowout take place in Philly? I was just acknowledging Johnny, and possibly Super Son Aaron might be watching with him too. So shout out. I will say that I think I will probably get the Omni that's coming out in the fall, the fall of X. And is it Rise of 10 or something? What is it? There's omnibus coming out of the fall of X.
Yeah, fall of the House of X. Even that, it's hard to commit to without seeing the reading order, because if it's in the order that they released week to week, because much like Hoxpox at the beginning, the books were all threaded, but it wasn't just Hox and Pox. It was Fall of the House of X, Rise of the Powers of X, X-Men Forever, Dead X-Men, actual just X-Men, and also Iron Man. And they all worked in order. So if the omnibus doesn't treat them like they're one big direct crossover, then I don't see the point, because
okay. Maybe I already.
Otherwise, you can just have your pile of trade paperbacks.
Yeah,
so
I might already have those trades. Freddie, do I already have those trades? Dead X.
I think you do. I don't know if you got the Dugan Iron Man though.
With Emma Frost.
Oh,
in
I'm
there?
sorry, you did. I'm sorry, my bad.
Try again, Freddie.
My bad.
Just got real sassy with you. Did you?
I don't remember seeing them, but when you mention it, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you did.
I collected a lot of Emma Frost covers from that. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have the full thing, so it might very well depend. Like Peter said, like seeing it and being like, oh, okay, it's worth the upgrade.
Two favorite obscure bands, a Jawbreaker, and Wipers. I have a CD set of Wipers that I got when junior management and I went to University of North Carolina to visit it when she was looking at colleges, and I think we went to. We didn't last long. She's not into collecting music like I am. We didn't last long in the music store that we went to, but I said, oh, Wipers, I've heard they're good. So I grabbed it. It was like a collection of theirs. I got to find that. That's now that I have a CD player that I got for my birthday. Beyond Comics, I'm not familiar with them. We'll check them out. I do recommend Antagonist AD and The Dauntless for New Zealand metal. I think my favorite band from New Zealand is still Split Ends.
Nice.
I just replaced my copy of the obscure Brian Eno produced 90s album Laid by James. Yeah.
I mean, I know that song. I don't know everybody I feel like I ever met knew that song back in the 90s, but I don't know the rest of the album.
Yeah.
This bed on fire with passion. That one, yeah.
Oh, Thomas Judge, haven't seen you in a while.
Hey,
I really need to carve out some time to read the whole Krakoa era.
Yeah, I mean, and Thomas is a huge continuity junkie like us, so I think Thomas loves any kind of big reading order project. Tickles his fancy quite a bit. Thomas, a long time sponsor of Crushing Krisis.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He actually is like the specific sponsor of several pages with his. He has a really cool YouTube where he just does these crazy reading order deep dives. He has this great way of like visualizing it, and he goes through a whole universe. He's like all of the New 52, all of Valiant, and he like sorts through all the issues. And like it's one of those channels where I'm like, how does this not have 10 times the views? There are so many people that ask these questions, and here it is on YouTube. Like, here's the answer. Thomas figured it out. It's there.
Okay, what is this that you guys are talking about? Sludge or something? Is a
water ice.
What is it? Rudders?
Water ice.
Water ice.
Water ice.
Say it again.
Water ice.
Water ice? Water ice.
Yeah, water.
Water
ice.
Now, Max was jamming me up about my pronunciation of Dutch the last stream. Bar's jamming me up for my inability to pronounce her name in Hebrew.
Oh, anytime you speak Spanish, like it just makes Bar laugh.
Then I try and read Spanish, and now I'm speaking in Philly. What are and Philly's only like 2 hours away from me. Water ice.
Yeah.
Water ice.
It's not. It's people think it's like a snow cone, but it's like somewhere between a snow cone and a gelato. It's with like shaved ice, but it's already pre-made. It's made with it's usually made with real fruit and like a real fruit juice, or in the case of vanilla, like real vanilla and like a like a little bit of non-alcoholic kind of rum type flavoring. And it's scooped, but it's like a little bit soft. Like you couldn't just put it on an ice cream cone. like ice cream. So it's because it's all basically just ice. Like it will just melt down into sugary liquid in your cup. But there's a few there are local places forever and ever. Pops, if you're from South Philly in the 80s. But then Rita's became a chain, and now you just get Rita's. It kind of became the hegemonic water ice power. But it used to be you just got water ice from like whoever your like corner water ice place was, and they come in these like big plastic like bins that they just have in a chest freezer, and you get some water. And it used to be super cheap. It'd be like $1.20, for like a cup full of water ice.
I've had Rita's before, so I know what you're saying.
Yeah. See, I started saying water ice because I'm trying to be proper. But if I was in Philadelphia, I would say let's go get some water ice. It'd be a dental tea. I would never say the tea.
Water ice. Okay, so it's like a D, water ice.
Yes, water ice. That's how people in Philly. The first time I had a theater rehearsal in college, I had some line of mine had the word water in it, and the director stopped. And we were in Philly, but the director stopped me, and she was like, "Okay, that's got to be the last time you say that word like that if you're gonna do theater."
Water. That's awesome. Just, do you know the band Little Dragon? I do not. Groovy, funky indie rock with a female singer. She just put out a solo album as well.
It's kind of wild to me that I don't have anything by them because they are like right in that whole like indie rock / art pop zone that I love, like St. Vincent, who I just am obsessed with.
Yeah, I need to listen to more St. Vincent because I really have loved what I've heard.
Oh, you should just do just straight discography because every record is good and she changes so much. Like every record's very different. She did a record with David Byrne,
Oh, interesting.
It's really cool.
Okay, that sounds like a job for Spotify then.
Yeah. I could give you my whole list. I got it all.
Awesome.
But yeah, I definitely have to check out Little Dragons. That sounds so my speed.
Brian, another of my favorites that I feel might be up Jess's alley is Deep Sea Diver. Seattle-based band headed by Jessica Dobson. Who played guitar for the Shins. I love the Shins. Caring is Creepy is one of my all-time favorite songs. Music. Okay. Deep Sea Diver.
It just makes me think of that Decemberist song. Some song about divers. Deep Sea Diver.
Okay, thank you, Brian.
I got so much music to listen. I'm so happy we came up with this topic. I love the stump us on music, and then we go and listen.
I know. I haven't even shown any of my music that I yanked except for that one album.
They just put out a new album on February 28th, Deep Sea Diver, called Billboard Heart.
Okay.
Wow. All right. Added to my list.
Freddie's on fire tonight. Grateful I stayed up for this one.
Thank you, Johnny.
Krisis, you missed some great tarot cards. Yeah, he did it for like the whole group, but not me since he already did me. And then he did it for some people in the chat, which was really interesting. Clip on Comics, he's awesome. I don't think I want to give my question on here for Cliff because it would bring the mood way down. Okay, that's fair. I understand. I do understand. I need a tarot session to figure out how I feel about Wolverine Origin.
Wolverine Origin, the movie, or Wolverine Origin, my favorite series, and the origin of my pansexual murder son, Dakin? Which one?
Pansexual murder son. I love when you say that. It's like you can't say his name without saying that. It's awesome.
You know what's funny? I was looking back at like old blogs of mine, and I still said that like years ago. I think at the time I was saying bisexual murder son, but it's always how I've referred to him. It's just always been how I've thought and referred to him.
You got a Vampirella deck? I need a reading with the Vampirella deck. You can see in the background a little bit in Krisis's room that he has. I think your vampies are to your left, right?
Yeah, let me go see if I can find the tarot deck real quick.
Yeah, that's fine.
Ha! Krisis is gone.
Let's talk about him.
Got them out of the room.
Wait. Oh, did you already ask that question, Brian? Oh, and here's Kane. How are you, Kane? One day closer to the weekend. Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, why isn't Kane a mod in my channel? We made you a mod in I need more mods on my channel. Kane, do you want to be a mod on my channel? I know we made you a mod on Omnibros, but I feel like I need more mods. I never know. You never know. Something could happen and I would need more mods. So
Oh.
I won't just make you a mod. I'll ask you if you would consent to be a mod.
Speaking of mods, you know how I've been lurking a little bit more recently, like, well, less now, but I was lurking for a few weeks,
On
and
my
I was
for my shows?
on your shows,
Yeah.
and I've been looking for months or maybe even longer. Very funny, made me a mod,
Oh,
and it's every time that I start commenting, like I get dragged in. That's when people will start adding me because I muted them. I'm like, you guys are saying some really racist, sexist. You guys are going
Weird
like
lines, Jake?
personal. Yeah, you guys are going like a little bit too jugular on. Like I know we crap on everybody there, but it's like you guys are going a bit too much, and then they all start adding me, and that's why I start lurking there. This is like I want to stop you all from doing this, but I also, you know, Omar doesn't care if I ban everybody.
Well, yeah, I think the realization I came to is I totally respect that a lot of our YouTubing friends like to stay pretty politically neutral, and they're like, oh, I'm not going to touch that topic. Oh, that's like a hot wire topic. And for many reasons, because they personally don't want to get into it, because they don't feel like they know enough to have a take on it, because they're sponsored and they don't want to make their sponsor angry. I have come to the realization that in my old age here in New Zealand, I do not give a fuck. And I'm going to say my crazy liberal shit, and I'm not going to give any patience that on my channel. So I know that I have to behave myself when I'm on other people's channels, and I'm not going to take it into politics. But I think, especially starting this week, I've tried to be very clear that you are entering a political zone when you're on my channel. That's why I started doing it again, because I'm like, I want people with these ideas to just be on the internet having fun. I think the other side has gotten much better at that over the past 10 years. And I would like to just be a liberal on the internet having fun. So that is a huge reason why I'm back to doing my own videos again. Yeah.
nice.
So I got the Vampirella deck. The thing about it is, outside. Oh boy. Okay. So I'll try not to show anything that's not safe for work. Outside of the major arcana, they're not super well branded to it. So like this is the Emperor. That kind of makes sense. I think I saw the Devil. Like the Lovers. This one's good for the Lovers, but they're just basically covers of the classic Vampirella. But then after you get out of the major arcana into the minor arcana, like this is the Seven of Cups. There's no cups. There's no seven of anything. So it's kind of like, I like cards where you can, here's the Four of Swords. I mean, at least somebody's got a dagger on this one. But I like decks where you can actually use the art on the card to kind of help you tell the story. But I did bring in my other favorite. Well, that isn't even one of my favorites, but I think Jess will like, this is the Starman Tarot. Which is based on the songs and imagery of David Bowie.
Oh my gosh.
And it's beautiful.
Well, that's a gorgeous box.
It's
really
very like Dave McKean-esque.
Yeah.
So let me just show some of these. This one is the Moon.
Oh, wow. I am in love with this deck already.
And it's like really vivid. Here is the Sacred Clown, which I think is just a retake on the Fool. So they're all it's not like they're literal David Bowie songs, but some of them you can kind of feel the reference. But the art is just this very wild, vivid. I think it's like a computer illustrated, not to say that it's generated, just that I think it's all digital. So here's the Eight of Cups. And so it's just this like wildly, here's this one's weird. The Ten of Wands. So yeah, I love it. Because any deck that's really evocative like that and just has crazy imagery helps the reading. And here's the King of Swords. Yeah. So that's one of my faves in my giant stack of tarot that I have in the other room.
Oh, Kane's with you. She's from Jersey. Water equals water. East Coast is best coast.
Oh, by the way, Kane consented to being a mod.
Oh, she did. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Oh, and cool that I introduced Krisis to Lone Justice. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I have such an amazing music. And you know what? Lately, I've been listening to a ton of music because I have my commute to pick up Kid Krisis from school every day. And then a lot of days, her neighbor, I've said this on every show at this point, the neighborhood her school is so flat, which my neighborhood isn't. So I can run there and it doesn't like kill my knees. So I'm listening to tons of music lately because I like have this drive and then I have like an hour to go running. So I'm all for new music right now.
I just thought of another group that I think they were they may not be obscure. Cowboy Junkies.
I know of Cowboy Junkies because a lot of people in my life knew them, but I was not like curious enough to listen to them. I remember people having the cassette tape of Cowboy Junkies. Like, yeah.
My favorite song of theirs that I listen to constantly is Common Disaster. It's so haunting, and she does such a great job. Talk about evocative lyrics and her singing. It's got kind of spooky music, and I really love. And I listen to their other stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I get that. It sounds good, but Common Disaster just latches on to me for some reason.
I have to go see what album that's on.
Yeah, see if you dig that song at all. Oh, and Kane's getting a cold. I'm really sorry about that. Oh, you got it from your dad and sister.
Oh, she was just making them chicken soup. But see, every good deed
that's
is
right.
repaid.
That's right. Wait
Family.
a second.
That's gotta follow the lore from channel to channel.
Oh,
She has a backstory.
it does.
Actually, I like this line. Our first June without any kind of hellfire gala. At least last year had a gay wedding.
Yeah.
So this is our first June without any hellfire saga.
No,
So you like a Cowboy Junkie? That's kind of late Cowboy Junkies. Common Disasters on their record from 1996. I know them as like a late 80s.
Yeah.
And it's so weird. Like, I don't know why I had such walls up over them, because now that I'm like looking at their records and the genres they tend to be in, they were basically like an acoustic. They were all country. They were like, but to me that wasn't cool. Like, I wanted it to be like, I wanted it to be like Garbage or No Doubt or whatever.
Yeah.
But now in my dotage, now that I go back, I'm like, you were such an asshole. Why did you not take somebody's Cowboy Junkie cassette tape? And I mean, that's how I got into Ani DeFranco. Somebody just like giving me their Ani DeFranco cassette tape, and now I like am the walking encyclopedia of Ani DeFranco. So, I don't. This one's not acoustic country anything. This one's just straight ahead, rock. It's very spare, but there's no notes wasted on that. And the guitar, I love that.
Yeah, the guitarists do an excellent job of creating this atmosphere in this song that backs up her vocals really well. Hegemonic water ice power is not a phrase I thought I would hear today, but that was a good one. Jess, inject. Okay, I will. I will do that. Just inject St. Vincent into your veins. I definitely will. Colin Kennedy, Porcupine Tree, Steven Wilson, anyone? This must be music.
Yeah, I know of Porcupine Tree, but I do not know the music.
I don't either. I'm sorry, Colin. Oh, the Shins are surprisingly great live. Man, I love Caring is Creepy. Okay. I really don't like being in those VFC chats. When is that you have to mod?
It's
that,
almost all the time. It's worse on Saturdays, and that's why I don't tune in on Saturdays. But I when I'm active, people know I'm the only mod that's punishing them for that. And VFC has a lot of mods.
I don't know. I subbed in for Omar, I think the 29th,
Okay.
maybe. I never see anything. Well, of course, the Evergreen stream chat goes by so fast, and
It
Peter's
does, yeah.
in half of it as we're going along.
Half of it is me.
Yeah, I'm like, how are you? Wait, what's happening? I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying I'm surprised because I never see it. But I also don't tune in to. I only know when I'm on. I don't tune in to him or anybody else really. I would like to start watching Krisis on Sunday afternoons if junior management isn't here for the day. Usually she is.
Well, and the thing about mine too, since it's so specifically about books, that the next day I have chapter marked all of it. So even if you don't catch me live, but you're like really interested in keeping up with my screaming about whatever series you enjoy me screaming.
I want
like Batgirl. I scream a lot about Batgirl this week. So after the first day, you can just go and click the chapter mark of Batgirl and hear me.
Oh yeah, I want to hear what you have to say about Batgirl. That sounds good.
Tape Brombold got an earful from me this week if he listens to the show. Well, and then there's the whole thing with, I don't want to get into it on this, but there was the whole Mark Russell thing this week. It was like a whole drama that I caused on Blue Sky unknowingly. Because I didn't know. So I
somebody mentioned that earlier in the chat. What happened?
So long story short is that Mark Russell did this book about a protopia. And the idea of a protopia is it's not a utopia. They've just figured out one thing that's a little bit better. They've like solved one aspect of climate change or one aspect of homelessness or something, but it's not a utopia. So Artists, Writers, Artisans, the comic book company, is doing 6 protopian themed one-shots. And Mark Russell wrote the first one. It was a very interesting story about a future that's pretty messed up, but they have figured out one thing pretty well, right? And so I was like, and I can kind of dog on Mark Russell sometimes, but it was Mark Russell, no humor Mark Russell, like straight up, like ecological commentary Mark Russell. And I was like, yes, this is Mark Russell that I love. This. So then I get to the end of the book and there's all this concept art to kind of explain the technology of this protopian world. And I'm like, okay, I love back matter, love me some back. So I'm like, oh, this is interesting. This is cool. Oh, but digitally. And then the 3 of the artists at the end of the back matter all credit their artistic medium as generative AI and like Midjourney. So I was like, A, I was super shocked that Mark Russell would participate in a comic with that. But B, isn't it a little ironic, Alanis Morissette, that to have a comic book about like climate change, the effects of climate change, and to like be having generative AI artists in the back. So I without really thinking, I was just about to go to bed and I posted at Blue Sky about it. And I didn't like at Mark Russell or anything. I was just like, I'm disappointed at this. And I'm surprised to see Mark Russell's name on it. Well, overnight, people started being like, Mark, why'd you write on this book, Mark? And so he came out and very clearly said, I didn't, the back matter was concept art, but I did not, that was not part of my concept. I wasn't inspired by their art. I didn't even know it was in the back matter. I just wrote the script based on writing a script about a protopia. But clearly he's not super happy, not to put words in his mouth, about the fact that his name, which is a pretty big draw these days, headlined this comic that had a bunch of back matter that was generative AI. So he's like, I'm looking into this. So I unintentionally put my foot in a big drama because nobody had said anything about it. It had been out for like 3 days already, and nobody had like there weren't any posts about it. I couldn't believe it.
So the main art is drawn,
the main art is a real artist. Now here's the question that nobody is concept art.
Concepts are generated by AI. What was the other word you used? Deep Journey, or what was it?
Midjourney is one of these tools. One of the generative.
It's an AI tool.
Yeah. Here's the unanswered question. We went to see a movie, right, and then we bought a book that was a concept art book, we would go, oh, this was the concept art that they like made to like hand to the director, to like hand to the costume department. Like when you see the word concept art, you usually think, oh, this had an inspirational effect on what came out in the movie. So I assumed that Mark Russell like had looked at the concept art for his concept. Apparently that was not the case. Okay, cleared up. Now, what we haven't heard from is we haven't heard from the artist. So I don't know if the artist of the book, who definitely drew the book, but I don't know, like, did they base their designs on the concept art? I don't know. And I'm not trying to like witch hunt anybody.
Yeah.
It's just such a weird, it just was weird. And I felt duped. Like it was my last not a good dupe like you have there.
Mm.
Because it was like my last book of the week, and it was like a 50-page issue, so it was like $6 or $7 to buy in Comixology, and I was like, oh, this will be cool because it'll have like a happy ending. And then the happy ending turned out to be that it had a bunch of garbage generated AI in the back of the book.
And this is AWA.
Well, you can hear all about it on my show this week because I did a whole moment of Krisis about it and about
Okay.
generative AI and what the difference between machine learning and large language models and generative AI. So if you want to hear me really go off about that, you can go and watch my pull list show from Sunday afternoon.
No, because there's another irony if it's like a publisher literally called Artist doing generative AI.
I did pull an AWA book for obscure titles.
That was very fun. Oh, talk about that book.
Oh, Bad Mother. First of all, Krista Faust. I love her as a writer. And she is, I don't really want to interview people. I've already interviewed people back during the pandemic and stuff, but I could get into interviewing her. She seems like a very interesting person. But Bad Mother is, first of all, Mike Deodato?
Yeah.
Yes.
Deodato. His art is in this book, and it is boss. Her daughter, a woman like a soccer mom, her daughter gets kidnapped, and it's going to be, I think, if I remember correctly, I think it's a trafficking thing. She's going to be trafficked.
Oh, make yourself big. Sorry.
Oh, sure. Make myself big.
Ah.
So Deodato's art is really crisp and really beautiful, and the woman, she gets nowhere with the police, and it's a kind of local crime boss that is that's another woman that's behind the kidnapping and the trafficking, and so she the mother, the bad mother, decides if she can't count on the cops to help her, and I don't want to spoil why the cops can't help her, but they can't. She ends up finding the girl's phone, and makes a lot of connections and figures out what happens where, and she goes after the crime boss herself, the local crime boss, and she kicks major ass in this thing, and it is great. It is so it is not somebody you want to mess with when you kidnap her daughter. I think Krista Faust did a wonderful job on this because she goes toe to toe with this other woman who is in charge of the trafficking. And I mean, this is it. This is the face off right here when they meet together at a diner, and she's saying she wants her daughter back, and the crime boss is like, make me. And it's just really powerful with lots of female empowerment, kicking ass, strong female protagonists, which I love. And she, well, I can't say how she levels the playing field without spoiling it, but she does in a really ingenious way. And I just thought this thing cooked all the way through. And Krista Faust has other books that are not similar at all to this. And this is a more straightforward book. The other books she has are more based on her fetishes, and she says as much, and they're really interesting, like Hit Me and Peepland. And then she does have an 19th century Western that's more straightforward that I haven't read, but a viewer hipped me to, and I got it, and I need to read that. But I think she would be a really interesting person to interview. She's based on her other books. She's an interesting person.
Yeah, I definitely remember your review of Hit Me.
Yeah, that was with Kristen, and I was like, I don't think you should look at this book. And I was trying to just sort of,
Had a long. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say that had a long introduction, right?
Hit Me?
Yeah.
You mean my introduction?
No. Like it had like a written long introduction about like what you were gonna read.
Oh yeah, where she says I am a fetish pervert, and that's how she describes herself. And I was like, this is somebody I want to talk to. And Hit Me, I didn't even, I just saw, oh, Krista Faust, Hit Me. I thought it was going to be about gambling, blackjack. Then I thought it was going to be, oh, maybe it's not that. Reading it, I was like, oh, maybe it's an assassin. Hitman, hit me. No, it's about a woman. It's a crime book where a woman goes on an investigation into this underworld of hers to find somebody. She only gets aroused, let me say, by getting hit. She's a masochist, and that's the only way she this woman can get satisfaction. And so that's what Hit Me is. It's about that. And then it's got a scene in there. I talked to my buddy Ryan in Wales after I recommended the book, and he and I both agreed it's got a scene in there that I've never seen anywhere. I've never heard of it. I didn't know this was possible. I think that it and this was when I was sort of gently trying to tell Kristen I don't think she'd dig it, because I think the particular scene is kind of disturbing, but it's also amazing in a weird way because it's something that I have not seen or known was possible, and it's set in this world of like this underworld of sadomasochism that is apparently Krista Faust is a part of. I don't know. It was it's, and then Peepland is a little lighter than that, but it's still kind of the same type of thing.
Well, I've been thinking of a book that actually it sounds like it fits perfectly in the middle of Bad Mother and Hit Me. I've read Bad Mother. I was looking at my notes while you were talking. I like it because it's like pretty grounded. Like she's driving around in this minivan, and I like when there's like a real person suburban revenge story and they don't immediately turn into like John Wick, you know? Like I want to read about this suburban mom being like, "Oh, I bought a gun." Like that, to me, that's funnier because it's like grounded in how this person might really take on the situation. I think it gets a little absurd by the 5th issue, but it still really feels like this mother being like, "Don't F with me. I'm a mother," you know?
Yeah.
But as you were describing Hit Me, it reminds me of this one shot that I read actually also by, I think, writers, artisans, now that I think about it, called Chem Girl a couple of months ago. And it was just a one shot, and it exists exactly between those two books. It's about this young woman who's a sex worker, but only via webcam. She's basically like an OnlyFans type person. And it's about that, you know, what she enjoys about it and doesn't enjoy about it, but then how it starts bleeding into her real life as she starts to be like more recognized in real life, and that she acquires a stalker from it. And it's written, you know, it's written by a woman, and the creative team is a female creative team, and it's definitely, there's aspects of it that are definitely a little bit titillating there. And much like your description of Hit Me, there are things in it that I'm like, ooh, I don't know that I've ever seen anybody like do this particular thing really well in a comic book, but it never feels, I don't know what word to say. It never feels like it's never punching down at her because she's the hero of the story. And it never feels like she herself is being used to titillate the reader. Like there are sexy situations, but we're never using her as a sexy. She's this like very rounded, dynamic, real, interesting character. And it just blew me away. Like it was a perfect one shot. It's like 40, 50 pages. It's just a one and done story. And I just was amazed by how good it was and like how like into it I got.
Okay, Chem Girl.
So I don't think it's going to be collected because it's just a single issue. It's on Global Comics. Global Comics.
Oh, Global Comics, yeah.
James, it's really worth a read. I really, really liked it.
Okay.
And it fits perfectly. I feel like you could do a trilogy of Bad Mother, Chem Girl, and Hit Me, it sounds like, and it would just be like a perfect little trilogy of books.
Well, I would love it if you read Hit Me, and when you get to the scene, you'll know it, what I'm talking about, and see what you have to say about it. Earth's Geomancer, you three make my unbearable commute bearable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I'm way behind. Kane's okay with being a mod. Johnny's okay with being a mod. Okay, and Yarny. Okay, I trust you guys. I'll mod you up.
Yeah,
I'll
but
get you all modded up.
I don't know if it was
Because
Johnny
people are
saying-
so often getting rowdy in your chat. You need a whole mod squad.
Well, it hasn't happened in a while, but I do remember the days when those links would show up. Links, no. People,
Oh yeah. Well, I haven't seen those in a long time.
No. I think YouTube's gotten very good at like getting rid of those spam bots.
Yeah, I forgot about them now. Never be sponsored. Okay. Whoa, that Starman Tarot is amazing. David Bowie's one of my favorites, and that Art Chef's Kiss. Yes. More music recommendations you may know. Oh, Unknown Mortal Orchestra, psychedelic reverb-soaked indie. Oh, whoa.
Let me fire up the wish list.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah, wow.
Unknown Mortal. Sounds like it's going to be like Scandinavian death metal.
There's also Of Montreal, similar description.
Oh,
but
I mean,
more
I know
theatrical.
of
Oh, you
Montreal,
know?
of
Okay.
course. Yeah.
You know of Montreal? Unknown
Unknown
Mortal.
Mortal. I'm only finding a song called that. Unknown. Hold on. I'm not. Let me do better. Unknown Mortal Orchestra. Here we go. Okay. I got it.
Of Montreal.
They have an album coming out 2025.
Oh, nice.
Coming out or came out last week.
Oh, even
Unknown
better.
does Dad?
Unknown Mortal Orchestra.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Brian. Psychedelic.
This may have been our best. We joke that we don't usually do the topic. This is like one of our best topic discussions ever. We got so many cool recommendations of comics, and we have to be over 50 at this point between things we've recommended and things the chat have recommended to us.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew says, Guys, I think honestly expressing your political and gender views, as well as the song at the end, is what is making your reformatted channel uniquely wonderful.
That is so incredibly kind, and it's absolutely the reason I'm doing it, other than to scream at comic books. So I'm really happy that somebody, yeah. And when Jess finally reads the Absolute Martian Manhunter trade 9 months from now, I will come on this channel and play the Absolute Martian Manhunter song.
Ooh, good. My lore in this corner of the comics community is growing slowly but surely.
Hey, people love you, Kane. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I say keep seeing your Extinction. Oh, Omni. Extinction. Wait, what is that? Just got mine in the mail too. Oh, okay. Extinction Agenda, Omni. What did they put besides Extinction Agenda in that?
I have to get my glasses.
That was this hardcover that was out.
I think they put all of Kings of Pain in here, which had kind of been semi-abandoned. They put all of Colossus's feature in Marvel Comics Presents, as well as some other Marvel Comics Presents odds and ends with Cyclops and Havoc. They put the two X-Men Presents spotlight on the Starjammers. And this one issue of Marvel Superheroes, actually a couple of X-Men features from Marvel Superheroes that I've been whining for years that they were not going to ever fit into a book. But oh my gosh, do you see the Marvel Superheroes issues here?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Which I have all of. Of course, that series mostly famous because Squirrel Girl makes her first appearance in a short story, and I think issue 5, I want to say, illustrated by Steve Ditko, right? Didn't Steve Ditko create Squirrel Girl in the late 80s as a?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Who created
back when she had that crazy makeup on.
Yeah. But I have that whole series because at the time that I was like trying to buy everything that I didn't ever think would be bound, I was like, well, this is a weird anthology title that like nobody even remembers anymore. Because this is before Squirrel Girl even like came back to prominence. So I bought them all, and at the time you could get them for like $10. You could get all 12 issues. Nobody gave a shit that it was the first appearance of Squirrel Girl. Now it's impossible to put a run of it together because you have to get that first appearance of Squirrel Girl, and there were not a lot of copies. It was a quarterly perfect bound comic sized book, and it was in the style of Marvel Comics Presents, but it was not perfect bound, but it had a spine. It was like a Marvel annual from the 90s. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, friends, I'm going to have to flee in the next couple of minutes, although certainly I know you guys sometimes go late into the night, and since we only start at 6 o'clock now.
Yeah, I don't know Daughters of Eve either. I need to, if 60s Garage Rock, okay, just a second. I better write that down. Daughters of Eve.
I did mark down a page, and I'm having trouble finding it. My favorite page in this whole book. I don't want you to leave without seeing it.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Maul. Appreciate your being here. Derek, welcome.
But yes,
Oh.
Peter, tell me an obscure book of yours, because I haven't heard any of your recommendations, I think, today.
Oh, yeah, we've been talking almost all about music and Bad Mother.
We started with comics. We talked about, remember, I talked about gay comics and Jespris had something too. People were bagging on us for putting T-Dragon Society and Lady Mechanica. Of course, everybody knows what Lady Mechanica is because Jess talks about it all the darn time. But I don't think the world knows about Lady Mechanica.
You asked me a question in the crazy chat in Discord about Volume 6 that's coming out next week. That's what I'm getting. Volume 6.
Because you buy it in hardcover, right? I buy it, and so I buy the paperbacks. And I missed one, and I asked you, and you were like, "No, you missed one." So then I had to go and make an order just to like get from New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
I found somebody that had one to get that one that I was missing.
Yeah, it's a combination of the two. I think it's 7.
Yeah, the hardcovers used to just do one series, but now that the series got a little bit shorter, now the hardcovers do two miniseries per hardcover. Yeah.
Just don't tune in. Krisis will eventually start purposefully tricking you. I had to up my bowl. That's funny. That's my pain pump.
I did have a moment of Krisis that was almost explicitly to troll Harvey Picar's ghost.
Well, then I love it. I definitely want to tune in on that.
I mean, it was something I really wanted to talk about, but it did also exist specifically to troll Harvey Picar's ghost. Both can be true. Why not both?
Yeah.
Where did you get this? Is this the mod credo?
Do you not know? Does nobody know? Come on, Freddie.
What?
You must know this, right?
And it kind of looks like a Green Lantern.
Oh my gosh, uncultured. It's from.
Thank you.
I don't recognize
it. It's Galadriel's monologue from Lord of the Rings when she gets offered the Ring of Power. And I shall not be dark, but beautiful and terrible as the morning and the night. Fair as the sea and the sun and the snow upon the mountain. Dreadful as the storm and the lightning. And her hair is like all,
Yeah.
So when you made Kane a mod, I was like, well, now Kane has power.
Well, that's what
now it's going to be the Dark Kane saga.
I'd buy it.
I
would
too. Dark Kane saga, totally.
Give it to me in gallery edition. So here's Habibi. Do you know Habibi?
I have that, but I haven't read it.
Oh, it's great. It's super thick. It's a really thick book. It's by Craig Thompson, who did Blankets. And I gotta say, I think this is way, way better.
Better than Blankets?
Yeah, for sure. It is completely different topic, like very far away. So reading a little bit from behind, it says, sprawling across an epic landscape of deserts, harems, and modern industrial clutter, Habibi tells a tale of Dalgoda and Zam, refugee child slaves bound to each other by chance, by circumstances, and by the love that grows between them. It's great because it has some of my favorite things of anachronism, which is, you can't really put this in time. I think Craig Thompson literally started writing this like a period piece, and at some point, just put a bunch of modern stuff in it. Why not? It's great. If you've ever seen Archer, and you know how it starts like a 60s spy thing, and then suddenly they have cell phones. kind of. It doesn't go as far, and not as funny. This is a very yeah. This is a very serious and like heartfelt book. Oh, like I don't want to spoil a lot about what goes on. I'm gonna show you one of my favorite pages. Like, look at this.
Whoops, wait a sec. Okay, yeah, we can see that a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, we can see it. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of nudity, so I have to be careful with what I show. But yeah, so there's these two child slaves. They're in the cover. She's a little bit older. She starts taking care of the boy, and they get displaced a bit, and then they find each other as they're both like a bit older, kind of adults. And so it stops being like she's raising him story into a love story, and based on not just them knowing each other from before, but the awful things that they go through and their experiences together and how they help each other grow. And it is such a great book. If you don't like reading books in the sand, I'm sorry, this is all desert. But it's really great. It's black and white, yeah. And
Cool.
there's a lot of really powerful imagery in the book. Like, people will die of hunger. People will be abused. You don't see those the more shocking and powerful images, but you do see things that will make you think, make you feel. It's such a great book. I love this so much.
Okay. Chris, this is the one. Yeah, Redemption by Krista Faust. That's the Western one in the 19th century or something, right?
Yeah.
Derek, welcome. Speaking of AWA, has anyone read Fight Girls from Frank Cho? I enjoyed it. I have not. Oh, yeah. Jennifer Blood is much different, but if you like Jennifer Blood, you dig Bad Mother. I loved Jennifer Blood. I loved Lady Killer. They were, not that they're the same, by Joelle Jones, Lady Killer. But this, it's the Bad Mother. I love you can see her right here that she's like a soccer mom in these soccer mom jeans, hanging up the bloody t-shirt for the laundry.
Yeah.
So that's how sort of grounded it is. Boy, his art, I forgot how great an artist Deodato is.
Well, I feel like it really reawakened him too. His art was getting very predictable at the end of his run at Marvel, and I think Infinity Wars was probably one of the last things he drew at Marvel. And then it just felt like he really got a breath of fresh air doing some of those books for AWA. And because I've always loved him, but he does get a little like plain and flat especially when he's on the same series for a long time. And so then when he came back and did some DC after that, I thought it was really like lively and different and exciting. So everybody needs to change it up every so often. So I need to flee and go put some food in my body before I take it out for my next exercise of the day.
But
so
before
I'm
you go,
happy. Great success.
I have books by big names. You will tell me which ones have you heard of this. Paul Cornell?
Here we go. Lightning round. Go.
Lightning round. Yeah, Paul Cornell.
I know who Paul Cornell is, of course.
Twice Upon a Time, Doctor Who. Such great comics by him. Obscure comics. Marjorie.
Well, I need to crack the whip so that my Doctor Who editor makes more Doctor Who guides on Crushing Krisis, and then I will know about
exactly.
It. All right, who's next?
Marjorie Liu, The Tangle Root Palace.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Incredible comics.
Marjorie Liu.
There you go. Colin Bunn. This one's interesting because it's for TKO. He's written a lot of novellas. This is another one. Going back to them. He hadn't done one in a while. Bird King. This is actually the best book ever by G. Willow Wilson.
Oh, let's see. I don't know any of these. I love G. Willow Wilson.
Bird King. I don't know that one.
Because it's prose. Fantastic. It's her best book. It's her best book. And of course, by the great Kelly Thompson, you have these.
Yes, I
Story Killer and
Kickstarter number I was.
The Girl Who Would Be Killed.
Right down the row from here.
Exactly.
I have the magnets on my fridge.
Bye-bye,
Anyway, you
Peter.
should talk about all those at length because
Yes.
people deserve to know what they are. But I have to fly. Thank you, as always, for letting me jam on comics with you.
Thank you
Freddie,
for
and
being
Omnidog.
here.
Thank you.
Always good
Pleasure
to
and
see you.
Stress-free stream.
Stress
Join me
free.
in Crushing Crisis. Hear me scream and scream and scream about every new comic that is released. Every Sunday afternoon or Monday if you happen to live in New Zealand, Australia. And I'll see y'all soon.
Thanks for being here, buddy.
Bye. And also, great thumbnail by Peter. Come on.
Yeah, Peter did. I think Freddie is real. Freddie is fuzzy because he is not real. Okay, well, there is that.
There's a lot going against me being real.
I missed a lot of comments and I apologize, but Rosie, thank you. I appreciate your being here. Well, we missed, darn it. It's always a treat to see you live on Tuesday with Freddie and Omnidog.
It's always nice to see you, Javier.
Yeah. So I'm actually needing to go myself because I haven't eaten yet. For instance, Nate Garcia often cites Blankets and Bone as two early comics that got him into the genre. Well, thanks y'all for being here. I don't have a lot of people to talk comics to in my day-to-day life. That's why I started this channel, because I don't either. And it's lovely getting on the internet and talking to people about comics, and now we talk a lot about music too.
Yeah.
Wait, Dana's here?
Yeah, Dana was here.
Dana. I didn't read Blankets for the longest time because I prejudged it, but then I checked it out from the library and loved it. I didn't see Dana earlier. Still prejudging it. Okay.
That's kind of fair.
Johnny, this is right. This is this is the Kim Cattrall scatting song. Yamakipayebo Satareba Cable. That's great. Poser. I know. I don't have. I used to read nothing but prose. I just don't have time anymore because I read. So better late than never, Dana. Glad to have you.
We are glad to have you. I don't think anyone's ever really late. Like, if you want to go back and watch some more of the show, you can. If not, hey, you got here before we actually signed off. That's amazing.
Yeah. Happy to have you here.
Yeah.
And ice cream. We discussed a lot of ice cream. I really didn't discuss it. There is ice cream in the house, and I have a bad feeling that I'm going to eat more of it tonight. So,
what flavor?
I wiped them out of vanilla caramel fudge because it's so rare for them to have it. They had a bunch of it, and I said, "Is this a sign from God?" I think so. I better get it all. So I brought like 9 of them in.
I've been trying to resist eating sweets. I got hungry during the show, so I started eating these that I've had for a long while. These are Sour Patch Kids Sour Hearts. These are from Valentine's. Look at me having such willpower.
Sour Patch Kids. They're so great.
Give me a Green Lantern ring. I got willpower.
Okay, thank you to everybody in the chat. I'm so sorry that I didn't get to a lot of your suggestions and recommendations, but thank you for all of them. I wrote down a ton of stuff. Thank you for tuning in. Peace and love. Peace and love. Thank you to Krisis and Freddie for being on the show. No, we didn't talk about Pop-Tarts. Oh, I didn't get any Pop-Tarts. It was enough just for me to get ice cream. But yeah, that's a typical go-to snack for me is Pop-Tarts. So peace and love. Thank you very much. I wish we could do this more often, but the second Tuesday of every month is Jammin' on Comics, and we had a lot of fun tonight. We talked about a lot of fun comics, a lot of fun music. So I hope everybody has a good rest of your evening. good rest of the week, and I will use my song to play us out. Peace and love. Peace and love.